What is up, Who Dat Nation? Welcome inside another edition of the Straight Up Saints podcast. I'm your host, Chris Rosvogel. We're here for the Saints-Bucs game as we get it started with a very promising opening kickoff from Mason Tipton, who is going to bring it all the way inside Bucs territory. So Saints are going to have great field position here. Let's get into some thoughts after that great kickoff return. Look, at this point of the Saints season, 2-10, obviously they're not going anywhere in terms of playoff picture. They're eliminated actually mathematically, which is quite hilarious. I think at this point, we're just looking for whether or not they could build off what they did at the end of the Miami game. You know, I talked about this earlier this morning on Twitter. The first half for this team has been brutal. Creativity on offense is lacking. And I want to see if the Saints can come out here with a little bit of sense of urgency and Kellen Moore dialing up some stuff to get this team going in the right direction. And I think a lot of it is going to start with if you get the ground game going with Devin Neal. So that's going to be interesting. First snap here, Tyler Shuck dropping back to throw. He's going to throw it deep to Chris Olave. He's got him, and it's just off his fingertips. Oh, man. The Saints could have had 6 to really open this one up. Honestly, the first 2 plays of the game, you could make an argument Saints could have had a touchdown on the opening kickoff. And then right there, which I'm going to be honest, that little hold that McCollum had might have been the difference between the touchdown right here. Oh, my God. So Saints, again, I said pick up where they left off in Miami. I guess it actually was true. Miami, you had what should have been a touchdown from Olave, and here could have been 7 to open this one for the New Orleans Saints. So starting off early with a deep shot, and man, they had it. You got to convert there. 2nd and 10. Shuck out of the shotgun. Going to throw over the middle of the field. He's got Vele, and Vele picking up where he left off. Big gain for number 14. And yeah, guys, I agree on that. Weed at 24. I think that you saw, like I said, him and McCollum, there's a little bit of a tie-up, and that ends up making the difference between what's a touchdown and what ends up being an incompletion. Overall, though, I'd argue that a promising start that you're going to have that deep shot there. Olave has to catch that. I get it, but I think the ref and Saints AK-41 said, I agree. I think he kept the flag in his pocket. 1st and 10 here from Tampa Bay 29. They're going to go with Devin Neal. He's going to run. He's going to gain about 2 yards to force about 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7 if you want to be generous, and I think that's what it might end up being. David saying, go 14. You know, I talked about it before, young talent. I don't know where Vele falls in. I know he's a second-year player, but he's an older player. Remember, he's not, a young second-year guy. I think I want to watch his development, right? Is he able to pick up where he left off? And, the Saints, like I said, they traded 2 picks for him. Last week was an awesome showcase. Can he build off that? And if he does, all right, now you feel a little bit better about his progression. 2nd and 7, Chuck's going to throw over the middle to Juwan Johnson. Juwan's going to get inside the 15, and the Saints are up and running in a big way here. Red zone opportunity, and now this is where you got to convert. This is where you got to make do and feel really good about this offense. Got to convert here in the red zone. Weed at 24 saying this should be a Vele and Johnson type game. I would not mind that at all, and I think that is a possibility. Going to go with a read option. This is going to be a great play for Shuck here. He could potentially get in, and then he's going to get around to the 4. I love that call right there. I love that call. And I love this opening drive, man. What an opening drive for the Saints so far. It has to end in 7. Great block by Juwan right there, being the lead guy. Yeah, just really, really well executed. Really well executed by the Saints on that one. Use Shuck's athleticism more, man. And this is where I want to see. 1st and goal, from the 3. Can you punch it in? Vele in motion. Shuck takes a snap. It's going to be a carry to Devin Neal. And Devin Neal, is he in or is he down at the 1? See, waiting for the marker. And they're rolling in a touchdown. Devin Neal with a touchdown. And the Saints I want to say that's like a statement opening drive. What an opening drive. You got Devin Neal with a touchdown. If he's not down, we'll see. Oh my God, what a play by Devin Neal. Broke the plane on that one. Awesome. Fucking awesome play by Devin Neal. So you got a touchdown from Devin Neal. Hell yes. You got Tyler Shuck making good throws to Vele, Juwan. You had the one Olave where I think if they end up calling penalty, you end up getting great yardage there. And the extra point is through from Charlie Smith. So awesome opening drive for the New Orleans Saints. They're up 7-0 to start this one, man. What an awesome opening drive. Absolutely love that start for the New Orleans Saints. Easy 37. Do we want to win this one or stay competitive? I want the Saints to win one. Guys, I know that the draft position is important. I do not want to dismiss the draft position at all. But I think the Saints got to be in the business of winning football games and building something. And the reason I say that is just like winning's contagious, losing is contagious. And yeah, the Saints have been in some close games, but in my opinion, when you start losing that many games, you are what your record says you are. You're a loser. And I think for New Orleans, if they could start to win some division games, wouldn't you feel a little bit better about your coach? Wouldn't you feel a little bit better about Tyler Shuck if he ends up being 2-1 in division games to start his career? I don't think that'd be a bad start for him. So look, if they stay competitive, which it looks like they're going to do that regardless today with the way they came out of this one, you feel pretty good about this team. But if you win this one, and mind you, the Bucs are probably going to be, not probably, they most likely will win the division, although the Panthers are right behind them. I mean, you start to envision what this team can be, and I don't know. I think to me that's a little exciting. So I'm all in on win the game. You know, beauty of a start, something new here. Robert says, "Yep." This to me is the best opening drive they've had probably the whole season. To be quite honest, I mean, that can you go with anything else? And I talked about it earlier. I really disliked the way this team was coming out early in games. And I thought that was an indictment on the coach and the way he kind of had it settled. And I think he's put a lot of accountability in it. I've criticized Kellen Moore an awful bunch. Got to give him his props where it's due. And it absolutely is due there. I mean, there was conviction on that drive. Really good drive. Leroy says, if Saints win today, you taking a shot on live? I would say yes, but yet again, I have to drive to another family function after this one's over. So I don't know if I should take a shot and then get behind the wheel. But maybe we'll do something at halftime. Maybe we'll have a drink at halftime and let that settle in for the hour and a half. How about that? Does that count, Leroy? We'll do that if you want. Love that they were able to capitalize off Tipton's return. Shuck may be our quarterback in the future. Still not sure about franchise quarterback, but definitely a starter, Xavier says. I agree, Xavier. And again, it's all about stacking. If you can start stacking good performances, then you start to build that trust over, can he be a franchise guy? Will he be the franchise guy? So, I think it's all about having patience with the process. But I think for me, and I wonder where you guys feel about it. If Shuck, don't you guys want Shuck to play well enough that they don't have to draft a quarterback with the first pick as the Tampa Bay Bucs get around to the 33-34 with their return? I don't want the Saints to be in a position where they have to take a quarterback with that first pick. I want to see them maybe take an Arvell Reese or a Caleb Downs or whoever, We'd have 24 says, I want us to win division games, to be honest. So do I. I mean, these are the teams you're going to be facing every single year, twice a year. So, if the Saints in a rebuilding year can have success against the Panthers and have success against the Bucs, and now obviously they got to play the Falcons one more time, but let's say they win that game. All right, imagine, in a rebuilding year, you're splitting your division games. I think that's a good sign, Here comes 1st and 10 for Baker Mayfield. It's going to be play action. He's going to roll to the left. He's going to hit Igbuka in stride for about a 5-yard game. Igbuka's been awesome this season. He's been really awesome. Leroy saying Tyler's balling. I was wrong. Look, I think it comes in waves. It's not like Tyler's been perfect. I will say, and Ed brings it up, that was impressive run Tyler Moore. Having the option play with Tyler Shuck, a play before, opens up the touchdown for Devin Neal because you go back to that well again, and as a defense, you have to take into account that Shuck can pull that football and run himself, and that's not what happens on that play. It ends up being just a keeper with Devin Neal, and you end up getting 6. So I think you got to utilize his speed. He's a good athlete. They're going to run it now with Bucky Irving, and he's brought down after a loss of about a yard. Really, really nice play. A nice start for this Saints defense. Bullard right there with the tackle for a loss. Shuck looks like a franchise quarterback. Look, there's signs. There's signs. The arm talent. Looks like he's processing the field really well. He's got to do it a lot of games, obviously, to build that confidence, because I don't think overnight you just say, hey, it's a franchise quarterback. Like even a guy like Jaden Daniels last year, Jaden was great like the whole season, so then you build up that trust. Now, if Shuck finishes the season on a high note, man, you feel really confident about next year. And imagine you could build around him a little bit. Right now, this is like the worst the roster is going to be for Tyler Shuck. Third down here. We got a flag here on Tampa Bay. Or is it going to be on New Orleans? We'll see. Neutral zone. So we'll see. I'm not ready to crown him yet. But I think he's looked really good. Jediah says you love to see Mike Evans not reaching 1K yards this season. I still, to a certain degree, not a lot, I'm still annoyed that the Saints in the Dennis Allen era allowed that, that streak to continue with the clear throw to him. And I don't know. I thought that was pathetic when that happened. So Bucs are going to pick up a fresh set of downs here on the penalty. Costly penalty for New Orleans there. Hope we get our Mark Ingram type runners so we maybe get a dual threat running back in the draft or free agency. I would love that, man. The Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara duo was something else. First down for the Bucs. Baker's looking to throw. Chase Young getting pressure. He's going to go underneath to Bucky Irving, who is going to be wrapped up for about a gain of a yard. Good tackling, though, in open space. Good tackle from Jordan Howden. This team has too little talent to not draft a skill position. Arvell would also be nice. Yeah, look, I think you can make the argument easy. You look around the Saints, they're talent deprived. So I can make the argument that any position they take, I'd be comfortable with it. The only reason I'm really anti-taking the quarterback right now is I do think there are traits with Shuck. And I would just hate to see the Saints just hit the eject button. And then you're back in a position where it's like, all right, you don't have a lot around your quarterback. This is what you're doing right now. And that's another reason why I kind of like Shuck is he's doing this with minimal talent. Going underneath to Cade Otton, and that will be short of the stick. So 3rd and 1 coming up for the Bucs. And I'd imagine at this point, even if they don't get it on 3rd, this might be 4-down territory. Diego says that first drive was a sigh of relief. Really good. It was awesome. And, I think for Kellen Moore, if he could start building good scripted drives, fantastic. Also, shout out to Mason Tipton. He's been a really good return man. And, getting rid of Shaheed, you're worried about that and how that's going to hold up as the Bucs get the first down here rather comfortably. I think the fact that the Saints were able to trade Shaheed, get more than what they would get from the comp pick formula. And, yeah, obviously you'd love to have Shaheed at receiver and have that extra one, but you've opened up space now for Vele to operate, and he's on the best 5-quarter stretch of his career. And then you look across at special teams, and Mason Tipton's been fantastic. Can't help but be excited about those kind of factors. I want Chuck to be good so we can draft a great wide receiver or D-line. I'm with you as well. I know people like the Arizona State wide receiver. He's been awesome. 1st and 10. Baker's going to roll out. Looking right. Going to go underneath to Godwin. Godwin's going to pick up the first down and a lot more. They're firmly into Saints territory now, probably around the 25. We'll see if the Saints can have that bend but don't break kind of mindset coming up. They're going to need it. Jediah says, is Neal/Miller as a running back duo insufficient for the future? I don't think that's good enough. I will say Devin Neal's he's got a great runway here to show what he can do. I mean, you got 4 games, after this one to really build up some trust from the coaching staff. I think Kendra Miller is the odd man out. And I say this as the biggest Kendra Miller fan in the world. I think Kendra Miller is really fucking talented, but at the end of the day, he can't stay healthy. And I think that is a huge, huge problem for him. And it stinks. Some of it isn't his fault. It's just bad luck. But what are you going to do? Chase Young getting pressure on Baker. He's going to go underneath. This might go for 7. And it will be. So Bucs score a touchdown right there on a play that probably shouldn't happen. Tackling's got to be better in space. So it comes in waves, right? When the Saints offense is clicking, Saints defense is shit. So kind of feels that way. Can't trust Miller health-wise. I agree. This game may turn into a shootout. I'd be fine with that. I'd rather watch a shootout than a slugfest. You guys are more than welcome to tell me your thoughts on that. I don't know what the fuck Alante Taylor's doing. What is he doing? Oh, man. I will say a lot of people are like, if they pay Chris Olave, I'll be aggravated. If they pay Alante Taylor, I think that would be the one that would aggravate me a little bit more just because I don't think he's, in my opinion, a good enough player to warrant that type of deal. So, yeah. And Sanker missing him there is not great either. But at that point, the damage is done. Chase Young is killing it. Glad we re-signed him for cheap. I mean, that contract is pretty much a bargain at this rate. You're paying $18 million for a player who, I mean, at this point, you're getting a lot more value for Chase Young than most people are for their pass rushers. Man's making business decisions out here. Unreal. It feels that way. I mean, that feels like back-to-back weeks that he's done that. Back-to-back weeks for sure. So, I don't know. I don't mind Alontae Taylor. I think he's a fine player, but I don't know. In today's cornerback market, I don't know. I'm not paying Alontae Taylor. Leroy with Super Chat says Reese and Young would be a nasty duo next year. It'd be awesome. And, so we did a video on Buccaneers Media. You guys can go back and check it whenever you guys want. We did a little bit of a review on Arvell Reese. And I said, like, if you put him with Chase Young as a defense now, you have a calling card. You have a calling card of, hey, I know the guys on the edge, my edge rushers, they are going to be the backbone of my defense. And if I can get you in third and long, I get you in obvious passing situations, it's got to be closing time for those two guys. Like, they have to do their job. And I think they're more than capable of doing that. So I would love that duo. I agree with you, Leroy. I think it'd be nasty. Chase Young's having an awesome season. The thought of pairing him with a guy that I think has, like, I don't want to go too high because, like, I'm going to say it anyway, but like a guy that has like a Micah Parsons type ceiling, to me, that would be super, super exciting. Why has Alontae just been worse year to year? I swear he was like the greatest DB ever as a rookie, was locking down Devontae Adams like it was practice. I don't even know if it's regression as much as it's just like kind of staying par for the course. I don't know if Alontae's regressed. I think Alontae is kind of the same player always was. I think he excels, in that slot, but doesn't like it, wants to be an outside corner. And I think or not even in the slot, really excels close to the line of scrimmage, I would say. When Dennis Allen used him as a blitzer, he'd be great. I think he's aggressive nature, gets him burnt, but it also makes big plays. It's tough with Alontae. I just, if he was offered a 5-year, $80-something million contract, obviously I want every player to get their money. I don't know if I'm exactly rushing to pay him that. Wes says, Alontae, salute to your service, bro. Deliver us our pick, baby. Got another return coming up. This one's going to be from Pettis, and he's going to get brought down at the 23. The difference between Pettis and Tipton as return mans? No, I'm kidding. Return men is a big difference. Bro, Saints ill, bro. Tampa is the GOAT. Oh, you're throwing the GOAT term out there a little too loosely. Opening possession, Saints, 6 plays, 45 yards, 2.5 minutes of time. Bucs, 7 plays, 62 yards, about 4.5 minutes of time. A little breakdown there between the two. See what's coming up here. 1st and 10 from New Orleans 23 in the shotgun. Taysom Hill in motion. Shuck takes a snap. Could try to evade the sack, and he gets brought down by Vita Vea, so that's going to be a big loss for the Saints to start this drive. Not great. I mean, you don't want the offense to go back to where it was. Is Blackman on this team next season likely? I don't think so. Unfortunately, injuries have really snake bitten him in a big way, and he's a talented football player, and I like him a lot. I just don't know if they would bring him back. It wouldn't be expensive, so I guess that's fine. It's not like it's a costly deal, but I just don't think they bring him back. 2nd and 17. Got to imagine you're ditching the run now for the rest of this drive, unless you try to go something up here to get a little cheapy, but we'll see. Shuck takes a snap. Going to throw it underneath Jawan. Jawan's going to gain about 6 yards. Is it? I'm trying to do the math here, but we'll see. 3rd and 11 coming up. Yeah, so 6 yards there for Jawan. A little bit more manageable. Still behind the sticks, though, which is what you want. You don't want to have these, you don't want to have this Bucs defense feeling like they can get you on a 3rd and long and maybe send the house there. We know Todd Bowles loves to have a blitz. And this is a big game for Tyler Shuck because this is the second time he's seeing Todd Bowles' defense. And I think it's always interesting to see how a young quarterback, the second time around against a defensive head coach, how they're going to handle that. So I'm very fascinated to see. Bucs have about 5 guys lined up on the ball. So we'll see if it ends up being a disguise or if they're sending the house. Nope, they just send 4. There's pressure. Shuck's going to go deep to Vele, and that one sails out of bounds. So Saints are going to go 3 and out. Not great for that drive. I mean, it got blown up on that early sack. So can't be behind the sticks. Can't be behind the sticks against Tampa Bay. That'll get you in a tough spot. I would like my theory to be tested on drives that are not returned by Dante Pettis. I mean, it's a huge difference. Obviously just from, you want to just talk about like suspicion wise, it does feel that way, but obviously, field position wise is huge. I think, Mason Tipton got you in Bucs territory already, and Pettis obviously at the 23, huge difference. So here comes the Saints punting game. I would argue that Kai Kroger has been like the silent killer on this team in terms of just not doing his job well. Maybe today will be a good day for him. I sure hope it is. But punting hasn't been that amazing for the Saints, as Tampa's going to take the punt inside and get close to midfield. Yeah, about brought down around the 49. There is a penalty, though. Got to imagine it's going to end up being on Tampa, but we'll see. Now, this rain's coming down. It's going to probably complicate matters a little bit. And as someone who's starting 2 Saints players in fantasy and I need a win to get into the playoffs, I don't know how much I like this rain, but shall see. So holding on the Bucs will back him up a little bit. No excuse to the ball slip out of Shuck's hand. It's possible. I mean, look, I think that's, you look at the play. He had Vele on that corner route, so not entirely sure if that's what ends up happening or it ends up just being a bad ball. Tyler's got to get rid of it, but I like at least throwing past the sticks. Yeah, look, I think Tyler, the one thing he's going to do is be aggressive. I think the only downside to maybe that aggression, and I don't honestly, I'm fine with it because I'd rather my quarterback be aggressive and I have to rein him back in than my quarterback not be aggressive, and you got to try to get him to take more chances, because I feel like that never works out. I think you're better off having a quarterback that is willing to risk it. The downside is, on that first play, you probably want Shuck to get that ball out so you're not sacked and behind the chains, and that ends up happening. Can someone give Breeze the shoulder blade? Come on, man. Take one for the team. LOL, I miss Drew. Don't we all? But to your point, Wes, you were talking about throwing past the sticks. No knock on him, because I don't subscribe to, slandering these players or especially this guy, because I think he's exceeded the expectations and already has made himself a living. But, for example, Spencer Rattler was a little bit more conservative with how he played the quarterback position, and then when you had to be a little bit more aggressive, the turnovers kind of piled in over that 2-game stretch with the Bears and Bucs. And I think, to me, that's a little – I'd rather have my quarterback be a gunslinger that I know with play calling and right coaching that I can get him to rein it in a little bit. I just think it's harder to get a quarterback who's not aggressive to throw the football. I think one of the best examples I can use is if I go back to the 49ers Super Bowl run in 2019 when they lost to the Chiefs the first time around. They were winning playoff games just throwing the football because they didn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo, right? And even if they did, it was all the underneath stuff. And then when they got to the Super Bowl and they blew that lead in the fourth quarter, and they're like, hey, we need Jimmy Garoppolo to throw now. We got to turn him loose. He had a pick. He had that missed throw to Emmanuel Sanders. It's like, you either got it or you don't, and I'd rather be able to scale you down than try to rev you up. It's very hard to do. Bills versus Bengals in a whiteout. It's heavy snow. Yeah, I see it. So I have on my back screen, I have Red Zone on, and it's that looks like, when everyone says football weather, that's what football weather kind of looks like. Neil had a great block to avoid a second sack on Shuck. I think his pass blocking's been pretty good. His blitz protection's been good as well. I think those are things that the Saints are going to value. I know it's old new, but did you wish the Saints used Jimmy Graham more in his last year in New Orleans? He deserved more use. He had amazing hands. Yes, I do, and I'll explain in just a second as we get the first down play here for Tampa Bay, and I think it's going to be a false start, so they're going to back him up. Yeah, Leroy, I would say this about Jimmy. I don't care how old he was. Who is matching him height-wise, high pointing the football? I mean, you're throwing up a ball at a 6'7" tight end who's got hops. I don't know, man. I think some people, and this goes to Seattle, this goes to Chicago had him. I would argue Green Bay as well. And then the second return to New Orleans, Sean Payton and Drew Brees understood the assignment. Like, you got a basketball player playing tight end. Just throw that thing up to him and let him make a play. I just don't think he was used enough, even as he got older. They're going to go with a run with Bucky Irvin on first down. He's going to pick up the penalty yardage. And I was going to say and then some, but it's about half a yard. So 2nd and 9 here. So I think for New Orleans right now, you get off the field early, you feel pretty good about yourself. We'll see if they can do that. Tackling's going to have to be good, though. And tackling right there was very good from Howden. So love that play right there from the former Minnesota Golden Gopher safety there. I really like that. Look, to me, it sounds simple, but tackling has been a silent killer for the Saints as well. I talked about Kai Kroger. Make the plays in open space when they're there to be made. 3rd and 5. Let's see if the Saints get it off the field here if this drive's going to continue. They're going to motion Bucky Irving back. I think he's going to line up right next to Baker. We'll see. These are usually those downs where if you're Baker, you feel comfortable going to a guy like Godwin. Obviously, Bucca's had a great rookie season, but we'll see if that chemistry comes into factor here. He's going to throw underneath that one. That's going to be a flag. So there is an interception by Jonas Anchor. It's going to get called back. And you know what's crazy is I love to see the replay. In full time, it absolutely looks like PI. But I bet if we see like a slowed down play, I bet it's like kind of questionable. But I think it's PI. And I would, I don't see them not calling it. And yep, they make the call, pass interference. So Bucs are going to pick up first down, no turnover there. Would have been a great turnaround for the Saints in that spot. We'll see. I want to see the replay though, how close it is in slow time. Obviously, in real time, it looked like PI. Let's see. Yeah, he got there early. It's the right call. Great play by Sanker recognition-wise. I mean, that ball ricocheted and made the play on it. Unfortunately, it's just not going to count. Leroy says, hypothetically, if Derek Carr didn't get no offers, would you be mad if he played with the Saints next year? Just imagine, LOL. Do you think Carr ever want to be here or just got paid? I mean, to me, Derek Carr's done with the Saints. I do think they might be able to trade him, though. They're going to toss here to Rachaad White. He's going to gain about 5. I think Derek Carr is going to get traded, to be honest. I have a weird inclination that he is not. I don't think he's done playing football. I just think he did not want to play for the Saints, and the Saints did not want him playing because of the injury that he had, that mysterious injury, and it caused a little bit of a problem. So that's just my thought. This is not reporting. This is me just trying to connect the dots a little bit. David Carr, though, was on a show talking about his brother's future and said, hey, if the opportunity's right, he's ready to play. So I think the Carr family's kind of just dropping hints like, hey, if if Minnesota's like, hey, we can't do J.J. McCarthy anymore, we need a new quarterback, maybe that's a spot they'll trade for him. They're going to go underneath to Godwin. He's going to get a good block, and he is going to gain a bunch of yards. Who just flew in and missed that tackle? That was rough. Jesus, he just completely whiffed on that. So the Saints defense starting to bleed out a little bit. Chris Godwin's getting busy early and often here. Let's see. Was it Quincy Riley who just missed, or honest to God, he just flew so fast I couldn't even see who the fuck it was. How many years do we have Carr under contract for? Vikings need a proven product. I think it'd be one more. I have to check. I don't know so they signed him a 4-year deal, and he played 2 years in before he retired. I don't know if this year gets wiped out, and that's going to be incomplete. I don't know why they're fighting for it as if it's a fumble. I don't think that's a live ball. Do not believe that. That's going to be an incomplete pass. I think technically speaking, I guess the year doesn't count, right? He's not playing this year. So I don't know if it reverts back to 2 years or if it would just get ripped off and start anew. I don't really know. I mean, the last time a situation like this has really happened, you got to think of like a Carson Palmer situation. Didn't want to play for the Bengals, and then he got traded to the Raiders. So it's kind of what I'm thinking. You think Carl Granderson has been very disappointing? Should have traded him while his stock was high. I do think he's been disappointing. I also don't know what his stock was, though. Probably wasn't great. I think the Saints would have been open to trading him, if they got an offer that I thought was in their ballpark. Because to be honest, even for Shaheed, right, they got a 4th and a 5th. They were asking for a 3rd. So, I don't love Mickey Loomis. I don't love how this front office operates, but they went a little bit below their asking price in that situation. Can we cut Taylor immediately? Cut him, man. They might sign him long term. They might sign him long term. 1st and 15 goes to Bucca underneath. Tackled by Kool-Aid. Going to pick up a good chunk of yards right there, though. Kool-Aid's a fascinating player. We'll see today which version of Kool-Aid the Saints get. So far, I haven't really seen any glaring issues. But last week, what was it? Miami? Yeah, Miami game, I thought he was sensational. Obviously, the Giants game, I thought he was really good. The first time against the Bucs, he was excellent against Igbokwe. We'll see how it ends up playing out, but I really, really think that Kool-Aid's the type of player you just got to live with the highs and lows of him. And the highs are quite good. Second and 6. They're going to run it with Bucky Irving. He's going to get brought down 3rd and 4 coming up. What do you think we could get in the deal for Demarion Granderson? I mean, I don't think any team's taking both those contracts on at once, to be honest. So I think both are looking at day 3 picks. Honestly, for both, you're probably looking for a day 3 pick. Each of them, obviously, day 3 picks. So I don't think you get much from them at this point. Again, I could be wrong, guys. I don't think the value is there. 3rd and 3 coming up. Let's see what Brandon Staley's defense they get off the field here. That'd be fantastic. It's absolutely been an issue for them. And Bucs are going to have to use a timeout. Would you say Kool-Aid is kind of like Patrick Robinson or King Lewis level, or like PJ Williams? I mean, I'll go in that Keenan Lewis type category. The reason I say not PJ is PJ to me was such an underrated Saint. Honest to God. Like, I know PJ Williams got a lot of shit. He was considered a bust early on in his career, but he transformed into a really, really good slot cornerback. And the one thing I loved about PJ Williams is just get the ball in his hands. He's going to make plays. You know, I think about the pick 6 he had on Sunday Night Football against the Vikings. I think about the pick 6 against Tom Brady, obviously. Like, he was a good playmaker. So I like PJ Williams a lot. I think he's underrated Saint. I don't know what happened that it kind of fizzled out, but really, really enjoyed his play. They're going to run it with a Bucky and be short. So 4th down, I think this is 4 down territory, no? If you're the Bucs, they've got an aggressive offense, we'll see. I would love for them to punt, obviously, but I think Todd Bowles in this weather, I think maybe you go for it. And that seems to be the case here. So if you're the Saints defense, it's no better time than right now to get an early stop and get off the field. Here we go. They're bunched up. They're going to do a toss play. They have him in the backfield. It's going to be a turnover on downs. And there's the man on the spot. We talked about Carl Granderson, and Carl Granderson made a fucking play. So great job for Staley's defense. And this is the perfect scenario for the Saints in terms of great field position. Get on the board now. Get on the board. Put your team in a really good spot here. Great play by Granderson. Read that the whole way. I don't know about you guys. I know hindsight it's easy for me to say this now that this play just got blown up. I am not a huge fan of, doing a toss play in that spot. I don't know. I just 4th and 1. I'm not trying to throw it outside and make things shake. So kind of confused by that one. If you had to pick an all-time Saints secondary, who you putting up there? Gotta put Marshawn. Got to. I probably got to put he who should not be named because, horrible human being. But he was a damn good safety. I would probably I love Jabari Greer. I'm a big Jabari Greer fan, so I'd probably have to go with him. Trying to think other safety spots. I think so Marshawn, Greer, the safety that shouldn't be named but was very good during the Super Bowl run. Trying to think what other safety I want to put in that spot. I can't put Marcus Williams. I saw you guys put Marcus Williams. Malcolm Jenkins is not a bad pick. Malcolm's up there. I wouldn't put him there, but I love Roman Harper. But I just can't put him on that. I can't put him on that one. So I don't know. Let me think about it, man. I mean, Harper has the Saints cachet in terms of like he was on there for a while and he was a good player. Champ Bailey. Oh man. Funny you guys say Vaccaro. I loved that pick so much. I bought a Kenny Vaccaro jersey when that pick was made, and I was so excited. And he wasn't a bad player, just wasn't a good one. I know who won't make it. Yep. Robert, right there. I was about to say that name, and Robert put it in the chat. Jarvis Bird, man. Oh man, I thought when that signing was made, it was like Bird and Vaccaro, crazy safety duo. Obviously, you know what you got in Breeze in the offense. It's like, man, the Saints are going to get back to being a contender. Little did I know that wasn't going to happen. Were you jumping up and down when they signed Bird? Hell yes. Hell yes. I got home from school and I was so excited, man. It was when they signed him 2014, I believe. Right? I think it was around 2014. So what was I then? Was I a sophomore in high school? I think I was like a sophomore in high school when they signed him. I was so excited. All right, 1st and 10 coming up. Taysom Hill in at quarterback. Going to, and Taysom fumbles the football. Let's scrap these plays out of there. How about that, guys? Let's get rid of these plays. Let's get rid of these plays. Maybe chuck those out of the playbook. 2nd and 14. Back-to-back drives, by the way, where the Saints are now behind the sticks. Critical play coming up here. 2nd and 14. Shuck takes a snap, drops back, throws over the middle. And they're going to pick up the 1st down. Great run after the catch by Foster Moreau. Kind of just sat right down over the middle of the field in that zone and made them pay. So keep the chains moving right into the 2nd quarter. Awesome way to end the 1st quarter if you're the Saints. I mean, you don't want to be backed up in that spot and feel like, hey, we're coming out into that 2nd quarter with a 3rd and long. So great job by New Orleans there. And overall, 1st quarter comes to an end, tied 7-7. And in my opinion, that to me was a pretty mostly clean quarter of football. Got a couple of nice throws from Shuck. Nothing over the top great, but a couple of nice throws. Obviously, I think the one to Olave would have been outstanding had it brought down. And to be quite honest, we talked about it before, could have very well been a holding call that got erased off the board. So I think overall quarterback's been fine. Haven't been able to see enough from Devin Neal yet. Only 2 carries for 6 yards and a touchdown. I think that would be something I want to see in this 2nd quarter and on. Can the Saints start to run the football a little bit more so they could avoid being behind the sticks and also make life a little bit easier for your quarterback? Obviously, I think the whole offense opens up if you're able to do that. And then defensively, tackling has been a huge issue. Baker is 8 of 8 right now. So I do think that's something we got to put into consideration. But yeah, I think that's something about it. Let's see what we got. Please retire the Taysom plays. Taysom needs to strictly be a pass catcher or occasionally throw. I would say this in today's weather with the slick conditions. The option plays are tough. Saints need to stop giving the ball to Hill. Just curious, how did you as a New Yorker fall in love with the Saints? Great question. So, growing up, I was always just a big Yankee fan and baseball was my favorite, sport to watch until I was like maybe 10. Trying to do the math here. Yeah, around like 10 years old. Maybe 9 or 10 years old. Was a big baseball fan, loved the Yankees. Derek Jeter was at the time my favorite athlete. And then, when they reopened the Dome, I remember watching that Monday night game. And I thought, me growing up at 8 or 9 years old, I had no idea the situation, how dire it was with Katrina. And I just thought like the fan base was just revved up for that game. And like, I just thought like, man, this is like how they always treat home games. This is the coolest thing in the world. I would love to, consider myself a fan of this team. So I watched that season. I thought Reggie Bush was the coolest thing in the world. And then my love for the team just got greater and greater and kind of went from there where that was like the first, my kind of, I don't want to say introduction to football because as a New Yorker, the Giants would be on TV. So I'd watch like Tiki Barber or whoever, but I didn't claim football as my favorite sport at the time. And that's just kind of where I got introduced to the sport, and the fan base honestly is what sold me. Because they were showing them on Monday Night Football and listening to Mike Tirico, and I was like, dude, this is the coolest thing in the world. And I still feel this way about the Saints fan base. I know that the Saints fan base can get frustrated. I get frustrated at times. We all kind of do. I still think when they're clicking, best thing in the world. Got 1st down coming up, and then I'll get back to your comments, guys. Rain's coming down, man. It is coming down. Going to run an option. He's going to look underneath to Taysom. He's going to throw it to Taysom. Looks a little bit behind him. Ends up being dropped. It's funny. I was like, hey, let's maybe stop the options and go right back to it. I was at home off from work, and I heard that ESPN that morning we signed Bird. Man, I thought that was like the signing. That looked to be the signing for this team, and didn't end up working. Love the person Taysom is, but we got to let him and his expansive playbook go. Tight end only plays like Foster. I agree. And Xavier, I love Taysom. I think Taysom is an all-timer for me as a Saint, what he's able to do. But when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And you got to just kind of make a play off that. And I think that's something they're going to have to move off from, in my opinion, and we'll see if they do. 2nd and 10, Shuck takes a snap. Looking underneath to Jawan. He's going to have to move. Can he avoid the sack? He can't. So 3rd and long coming up. To me, that's a coverage sack / quarterback probably just has to, if you can, get out of that one. What is Devon Bailey's ceiling? What player comparison do you give him? I don't know about player comparison, but I can't see, and I do believe Shuck's got to just throw the ball away there. Rather have no gain and take the incompletion than lose a couple yards. It's 3rd and 13 coming up. Low snap. They're going underneath to Olave. Olave is going to get to the 30, so Saints are going to settle for a field goal attempt here from Charlie Smith. We'll see if he ends up providing here. What is Bailey's comparison? I don't know about comparison. I do believe he can be a 700-yard receiver, in my opinion. I think he could be a really nice complementary piece, and I think he could be a wide receiver 3 for this team, potentially. So, I don't think he'll ever be a star. I don't think that's his ceiling, but I think he's a good football player. And I think, to be honest, I think he's way closer to the football player we saw last week than he is what we saw at the beginning of the season, where he was a complete non-factor for them. So that's just my take on it. 48-yard attempt from Smith is up, and it is no good. So kicking woes for the Saints. They fucking continue. They continue. Not great there. Wide left. Brutal, man. And that's why, man, it pays to be aggressive, obviously, but it also pays to run the football early and stay ahead of the chains, because that's what you don't want. You don't want to be in a position right there where you're settling in the rain for 48-yard field goals, and it's not easy. It's not easy one bit. Let me get back to your comments. I'm a little behind on these. Let's see. More like Marcus Colston or Thomas? I don't know. I love Colston, man. Colston's a dog. Where you from? New York? I'm a Queens guy. I'm a Queens guy through and through. Riley has been playing good. Sanker, this draft class playing a lot is good. It is, guys. I mean, I think we talked about it last week, Stutzman, when he leveled Achane. We're like, man, get him in there, because we want to see a lot of this Saints young talent and figure out like who can be part of next year's team, who can't. So I'm all aboard of the, hey, play every rookie you can, within reason. Obviously, if they can't play football, they can't play football. You're not forcing guys out there just for the sake of saying play the rookies. But in this particular example, Stutzman's got some game to him, so you'd want to see that. Daniel Jones looked like he suffered a non-contact injury on his other leg. Unreal. It looked like, I could be wrong, guys. It looked like an Achilles injury, right? I was watching the replay. It looked like he just collapsed. So, man, I think that one's if that is what it is, I feel for the player. Feel for the player. I also, if you're Indianapolis, you traded 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner. He's not even playing right now. He's hurt. It's tough. I think I will always be pro-aggressive when you are a contending team. And I do think, 4 weeks ago, the Colts looked like a contender. But it's a dangerous game you play. I think you have to have absolute certainty in who your guy is. And I say this all the time, and I think all of us Saints fans are kind of in agreement. When they had Drew Brees, I didn't care that they were always aggressive. I would argue they should have been even more aggressive. You had Drew Brees. The window is always going to be open with him as your quarterback. The Colts now are in that scary spot now, though. It's like you're clinging on to dear life for a playoff spot, which you didn't think 3 weeks ago was the case. You felt like you were a shoo-in, and you don't have your picks now. And I would argue it's not the same situation, because I think this team's situation is even worse. The Falcons don't have their first-round pick. Their quarterback tore his ACL for the 3rd time. So it's a tough spot. Baker's going to unload deep, and that's going to go over the head of Egbuka, incomplete. Chase Young got absolutely clipped there. So, I don't know, man. Sorry for a little bit of a Colts rant. I didn't mean to go a little too long there. In terms of ceiling and contribution, is Vele better or worse than Traquan? I think he could be better. Right now, technically, he's not, but I think he will be better than Traquan. I think he'll be better than him. Should have signed Justin Tucker. He's damn near automatic. That's another fumble. The thing about Tucker, though, and I can't even say outside because I don't want to sound dismissive. Obviously, the allegations are bad. He didn't have a good season last year, statistically. If he was automatic like he's always been, I think someone would have signed him already. Great way to trip him up, thank God, because that might have been a first down. So there is a penalty. We'll see if this backs up the Bucs or not. So we'll see what the call ends up being. But yeah, I mean, the thing with Tucker, it's a brutal spot to be in because, obviously the allegations are tough and they're going to say tripping. Oh man, am I wrong? I think tripping has to be blatant. I don't know how we're calling tripping on that. Their shoelaces got tied up, bro. Oh my God. In what world is that tripping? What are we doing, man? What are we doing? Who do you see as the Saints starting safeties and corners next season? I think Sanker and Riley and Kool-Aid, those three are like shoo-ins for sure. Who knows, though? Maybe if they draft a Caleb Downs, that'll be your fourth guy. But I think Kool-Aid and Quincy Riley for sure. Oh, what a play. What a freaking play by Carl Granderson. Way to shut those refs up right there. What a play. That's a quick loss of 5 right there. Bucky Irving is hurt. He's going to limp off the field. Great play by Carl Granderson. So we'll see. We'll see who that other player will be. But those 3 for sure. And what a luxury, because that is going to be a guy who will be in his 3rd year, and Kool-Aid, a guy will be in, and 2 guys will be in their 2nd years, respectively, in Sanker and Quincy Riley. It's bad that I see a penalty and immediately check the line on the game. No, Wes, I do that too sometimes. I do that too sometimes, Wes. Don't worry. I have my phone to my right of me, so I sometimes check in between it. 2nd and 15. Baker's going to drop back. There's pressure, and he's going to avoid the pressure. That's brutal. So he'll end up gaining about a yard or 2. Should have had him, down. Should have been about 3rd and 18. Going to be 3rd and 13. Defense still in a good spot. Obviously, still feeling pretty comfortable, but you got to get off the field here. Cannot give up a first down on 3rd down. Good pressure, though, from the Saints. Just got to make the play. Brzee, okay. First off, Brian Brzee misses Baker and then almost blew up Chase Young's knee. That could have been catastrophic for this team. Looking elsewhere around the NFL, I'm going to see if there's any weird scores going on. I know Sam Darnold just got picked off, so. Going to move Tez Johnson in motion. Throwing deep. And it is dropped. Thank God. Oh, man, he had him. He had Egbuka. It looked like it was a little bit out of reach. And obviously in these slick conditions, that's going to be a hard play. So they're going to end up punting. Saints defense makes the stop. And I'm going to say it again. Can we run the football a little bit? Just a little bit. Devin Neal, obviously, only 2 carries in right now. I'd like to see him run it a little bit. Yeah, hits him in the hands. That's got to be a tough catch, though, in the rain. It's on your fingertips. It's slick. Tough one there. Saints definitely dodged a bullet for sure. See where this punt goes from Dixon. And it is going to be fair caught at about 15. So, see if this Saints offense can get something going, man. You're right. We should run the ball, but I am okay with more data collection on Shuck. The thing, Wes, for me is I think I don't disagree with that, but I also want to make life a little bit easier for my quarterback, right? If we're just going to drop back and let him throw it 60 times against Todd Bowles' defense, what are we going to learn? I guess we'll learn if he could drop back 60 times and win a game, but I just don't know if that is the right play. Gavin says, Panthers fan here, praying the Saints win today. I'm going to be honest, Gavin. I don't know about you guys. Let me know what you guys think about this one. I think I think I'd rather, I mean, not that I care who gets in, because I don't really care. If it's not the Saints, I don't care who wins the NFC South. But I wouldn't mind seeing a different playoff picture, like seeing the Panthers be in this year, just to see maybe how they operate in the playoffs as opposed to the Bucs. Because the Bucs, who are who they are, like they get in and they lose like fairly early. Is the data you're collecting worth it if it's always 2nd and 17? That's my point. That's my point, man. I agree wholeheartedly with you. Like, how about let's collect some data on a 2nd and 3 where you could take a deep shot on a play action or something like that, you know, if you want to be aggressive. So to me, that is where I rather collect data than always have them in 3rd and long. Colts done. I saw that. Yeah, ruled out with an Achilles. Moonfish says Daniel Jones, your 2025 season will not be forgotten. It's brutal for him because he's a free agent now. And, you know, I talked about obviously the Colts going all in. Yeah, Colts went all in, and this is going to hurt because now if you're the Colts and you even want to get a quarterback to replace him, who are you bringing in? Because the options in free agency aren't great. The best free agent quarterback is Daniel Jones, but now it's Daniel Jones coming off a torn Achilles. And where does that factor into how much you pay him? When is he ready? And to be quite honest, I think about Daniel Jones in the season he's had. He was coming off a torn ACL, comes back to the Giants, it's a rough season, then he gets cut. He had a fibula fracture earlier this season, so he is tough as nails. He's playing through it, but I don't know, man. I don't know where he'll be at. I don't know where he'll be at, and if you're the Colts, you're in a really tough predicament right now. Technically, you're doing right. Had they just retained their picks, it wouldn't have been a problem, but it's tough, man. So, I feel for these players when it's an injury like that, man. 1st and 10. I'll get back to your comments in a second. They are going to run the football. There is a flag, though, so maybe that's why they don't run it. Maybe that's why they don't run it. Oh, man. See what you guys have to say. Sorry about that. We'd much rather see Bryce celebrate than Baker. Can't stand the guy who talks too much shit about the Saints. All right, it's going to be on the Bucs. All right, so we'll take that penalty. I think, yeah, I'm not a Baker guy. I know a lot of people like Baker. I can't stand Baker Mayfield. Good player, can't stand him. Would be crazy to see the Panthers in the playoffs while the Chiefs sit at home. I love that. I don't know if any of you guys are golf fans, but I love that meme format that everyone uses where it's Tiger Woods and John Daly on the golf course. And, you know, you got, it has 6 and 6, 6 and 6 on both of them, but it's like the way they look different. Obviously now Panthers having 7 wins. It's a really good one. 1st and 5, they're going deep. Oh, that's miscommunication. That's getting picked off. And that is picked off. Oh boy. Clear miscommunication between quarterback and wide receiver. And not good. Second, can we run the football, man? Brutal miscommunication there. And I'm going to be quite honest. That one you're going to love to hear post-game. Usually it's the wide receiver if there's miscommunication. The quarterback's the one who's getting the play in. He knows what the plays run. So we'll see what happens there. Olave's attitude does not look great today, to be quite honest. Looked like he was a little mopey on the sidelines. Yep. Yeah. So Olave's running that one almost as if it's like a curl, and it certainly wasn't. So and again, in these condition guys, I'm not trying to be uber aggressive every single time. They're going to run it with Bucky Irving. Big gain, and that's going to be a gain about 12 to start this drive. So Bucs are they're in good territory there. Can we please free Olave? Can't build quarterback chemistry if you keep changing quarterback every damn season. I mean, free Olave, what? Like let him go to another team? I think. Look, I like Olave. I think he's a good player, but you know, at some point, he's also got to step up too. I mean, we go back to last week. Man drops a game-winning touchdown. So, and I like Chris Olave. I really do think he's a good football player. There's inconsistencies with him though that make me think even if the Saints did have a good quarterback, he'll never be a true wide receiver one. And this is not me shading him because of this one play. Quarterback miscommunication happens all the time. I don't want to live with it, but it happens. But oh man, it is fucking pouring in this game right now. It's just, he's inconsistent. He's consistently inconsistent. 2nd and 5 coming up. They're going to stick it on the ground, which, by the way, Kellen Moore should get some hints here. Run the football. It is pouring rain in Tampa right now. Raymond James Stadium is absolutely soaked. Run the damn football. Kirk Cousins is always available. Coach, yeah, that might be a guy that you go after next year, honestly. That might be a guy you have to go after. Thoughts on Anthony Richardson's career being over soon due to attitude? It'd be tough if that's what happens because Anthony Richardson's got a hell of talent, but I don't know. Honestly, how you conduct yourself and, the mental processing of this position is equally important, 3rd and 5 coming up. Big play for the Saints if they get off the field here, and it looks like they will. No flags and no flags. All right. Baker's bitching and moaning. What else is new? Water's wet. Trade Rattler to the Colts. That also might not be a bad option if I was Indy. Anthony Richardson versus JJ. Give me Anthony Richardson. I mean this with no due respect. JJ McCarthy never once looked like an NFL quarterback to me. So for work, for the Spawn, I cover a lot of college football, primarily in the fall. And watching that season with Michigan, I'm sorry, man. It's hands off. It's a handoff to Blake Corum every single time, or Donovan Edwards. He never made any throws that wowed me. And, I'm just not surprised that he's not a good quarterback. Field goal attempt is up, and it is good. So Bucs are going to be up 10-7. Man, it is. These players are freaking drenched right now. What about 9? 9 sucks too, man. JJ McCarthy, 9. I don't care what he calls himself. I just don't think he's good. I think Richardson would thrive in New Orleans. What would it cost Saints? Would you trade Shuck and a pick for Richardson? Absolutely not. First off, I think Shuck's better than Anthony Richardson in terms of what they've proven at the NFL so far. And the reason I say this is, I am a big believer. I know it is almost becoming a lost art, completion percentage. Anthony Richardson, for his career, is completing 50.6% of his passes for his career. And this is not the smallest of sample size. He's played in 17 games. He's completed 50.6% of his passes. So, to me, that's just brutal. Baker's such a bum, just annoying looking and sounding guy. I mean, he is. I'm an annoying sounding guy too, though. So I guess I'll stand with him on that one. But Baker does get on my nerves a little bit. I'm weird. I want my quarterback to be kind of boring, and I guess I could say this because we watched Breeze's career, but I don't need my quarterback to being that rah-rah, complaining every 2 seconds type of guy. Fuck it. Somebody call Luke McCown. Let's throw him in there. Or maybe Chase Daniel. Chase Daniel, man. Guy collect a lot of checks. That's the life you want to live. You want to be a backup quarterback and collect checks, not get injured. So Shuck is better than Penix, McCarthy, Dart, and Ward. I might be in the minority on this. I think Cam Ward's good, and I just think Cam Ward is playing with Walmart receivers, as people call them. They do not have, they do not have a great support system around him. I do think Cam Ward's got a lot of talent. So Baker does get a lot of shit, but he is what we hoped. Derek Carr. Absolutely, Wes. Couldn't agree more. Olave didn't quit in the play, ran the wrong route, or Shuck through the wrong route. I would have to imagine he ran the wrong route. This is a knock on Olave. I just think 99% of the time, if there's miscommunication, it's usually the wide receiver running the wrong play, running the wrong route, as opposed to the quarterback not knowing what the play call was or where his receiver is going to be. Now, because it is a rookie quarterback, I guess you leave the window open a little bit, but it's fine. It happens. You don't want it to happen because that just spotted the Bucs 3 points. But I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan over that being an interception and that being costly. It's 10-7 game. You're still very much in this. So let's see if the Saints can muster a good drive here and minimum tie it up or maybe take the lead. Honestly, I'm going to say take the lead because I don't want to see them kick field goals anymore. All right, here we go. It looks like it's going to be Pettis with the return. He's going to cut it back. He's going to get to the 25. Looks like he's doing the cha-cha on Dancing with the Stars, and he gets brought back to the 28-29 of New Orleans. Is what it is. Just miscommunication. Yep. Shuck is good enough to build around for a few years. Not the quarterback of the future, but we have so many other holes to fill. I don't want to draft a quarterback for a while. I get that, man. I get that. I think the conundrum will be if the Saints pick one. Because if you pick one, you're going to meet with Mendoza. They'll probably meet with Mendoza anyway. What if you fall in love with him in terms of like the player and what you think you can build around with him, and you say, hey, this is the guy, then you probably take him. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting dynamic, and that's why for Shuck, you got to win games, and you got to get yourself. Oh, they're going to run with Taysom. He gets absolutely fucking leveled. You got to win a game or two here if you're Shuck. I know Saints fans don't want that to be the case, but you want to, as the quarterback, play them out of that number one pick to prove, hey, I'm the guy. So tough. Really, really tough. Second down coming up. I mean, I'd start using Devin Neal. I don't know if the Saints are going to, but, man, I would. And false start. It's shit like this that just gets really frustrating. I know the Saints lose games. They'll probably lose today. You could live with the losses, but, backing yourself up, and now it's 2nd and 13. They continue to play behind the sticks. And again, one of you guys mentioned it before. We're going to collect data on Shuck. Any data we're going to collect now is just how does he operate on 3rd and 15 and 3rd and 17? And it's like, it's not great, man. It's not great. So momentum killing. Lave in motion. If you're the Saints, you want to get at least 7 or 8 yards here. Going to go underneath. Hole's going to gain about the number that I said. So going to be 3rd and 7 coming up. And if you're New Orleans, man, a 3 and out here feels killer if that's what ends up happening. Also, I have to check the Tampa weather. Is this going to be the whole game? Are they just going to get drenched the whole game? Seems like, yep, heavy rain. All right. These are the cards they were dealt. Chuck takes the snap. And he's sacked. See, this is where you gotta get out of that situation. And I don't know if it's a rookie mistake or whatever you may want to call it. It just can't be happening. And yet, it seems to be happening all too much. So, not ideal. Oh, man. I got to imagine as a player, it's your boy X says looks miserable out there. Yeah, I agree. I was about to say, I got to imagine it cannot be fun. It cannot be fun playing in these conditions. I don't care what anyone says. Saints, you're going to have to punt it away. I mean, behind the sticks consistently. That punt is going to get to the... if it takes a 4... Oh, come on, man. I thought the Saints might have got lucky there. Good punt, though. It's a good punt to flip field a little bit. But, oh, man, I thought that was going to be able to... Saints get a lucky turnover there. I was hoping for it. The Saints should play to lose in position for the 26. I don't think you ever play to lose, but maybe that's what they're doing. Kellen's got to do something. I bet every game he's losing the locker room. That's why, guys, I said it before when one of you guys asked, hey, should they win or want to be competitive? It's hard to get guys to buy in every week if you lose every time. And, even for next year, like if they finish the season 2-15, all right, what if you start off next season 0-2? Everyone in that locker room who was there last year is probably like, oh, here we go again. Another 2-15 season. So winning to me is contagious in the best ways possible. And unfortunately, losing is contagious. And I don't want to see the Saints be the Browns or the Jets or the Titans or even the Giants over the last decade. I want to see the Saints obviously compete in every game. And I'd hate to see them get in this, I'd hate to see them get in this rut where they're losing 10 to 12 games a season, maybe more. And obviously this year it's going to be more than 10 to 12 games. They're already at 10 losses right now. We need a coach who won't be a yes man. Mickey Loomis. I feel like Kellen Moore could be a pushover. I mean, you're going to get a yes man as long as Mickey Loomis is there. So though it kind of goes, it goes hand in hand. If we're picking one or two, it's getting harder to not lean towards Mendoza. Yeah, look, I kind of agree on that. I think I like Shuck. I think Shuck's got a lot of talent. I think though, if the Saints are going to have the number one pick, it's going to be very hard for them not to take Fernando Mendoza and be like, hey, save the franchise. And I don't even know if he's that guy, to be honest. I do like Mendoza. I think he throws a fucking wicked back shoulder fade. Like, I think he's a good quarterback. But I just look around this team, and guys, we're watching this game. Like, wide receiver room, not good. Tight end room, not good. Running back room's not good. Offensive guard play is atrocious. Defensive line is okay, but it needs improvement. Linebacker needs a little bit of a facelift. So, I think it's tough to even if you like Mendoza, and I like Mendoza, it's tough to even say, hey, fix it. Because not a lot of quarterbacks can do that. And, even the ones that have done that at times, like Joe Burrow has done that early in his career with the Bengals, and they made a Super Bowl second season. Where are the Bengals now? Burrow's always hurt. Even when he plays last year at an MVP level, they missed the playoffs. This idea that like the franchise guy saves everything. No, they need some help along the way too. Even the great Patrick Mahomes. The great Patrick Mahomes got to sit for a year. He's got Andy Reid. I just think for me, like, there aren't guys that can just come in and save a team that is as talent deprived as the Saints are. I think like the two guys that do the most for their teams are Josh Allen and Lamar. I think Josh Allen and Lamar are asked to do so freaking much, and this is what ends up happening. It's tough to have that happen. So I don't know. I do agree though with you. It becomes a very interesting conversation if the Saints are picking one that, hey, maybe you do take a quarterback. Bucs are going to go draw here on second down and gain about 2 yards, 3rd and 8 coming up. We'd love to get a quick stop and get the ball there. So Lamar, now let's get Davenport. Brutal, man. I still remember that day, and it sucks because I've always been. So for those who don't know, Lamar is my favorite player in the league. I love Lamar. I think what he does, no other quarterback can do in terms of his elusiveness. I hate that he's playing right now because I think he's still banged up. I don't think he's anywhere close to 100%, and you're seeing that. I think Lamar at 100% is the most fun regular season quarterback to watch. Do you think Breeze has a say of not drafting Lamar, another quarterback out of respect? No, I don't think so. Saints wanted to draft Mahomes the year before. 3rd and 8. Saints are sending pressure. Baker's he's gonna slip out of it and get the first down, and he's probably gonna taunt them after. But this is what can happen. This is what can happen. 3rd and 8. You got him backed up. You blitz, and then you get burnt on it. Can't happen. Real frustrating. Let's see what else you guys have. Do you think Cam Ward is great? Just stuck in a shitty situation? I don't know about great, but I don't think he's as bad as their record would indicate the quarterback play would be. I think we get Reese to build around him and Chase Young. I would prefer that. I don't know if it's going to have that. Bring a blitz and leave the middle wide open. Dude, that looked like a fucking overload left over there. They're going to run it, and they're going to gain about 2. Saints run defense been okay so far. It's been okay. Obviously that play just now was a killer. You got him in 3rd and long. Like, got to get off the field. Might lose 4 to 5 vets this offseason if Kelly can't rally his team. I think that's probably accurate, man. That's probably accurate. I think that's also okay. They could get a little younger. 3rd and short coming up. Man, it really is. And I know the Saints obviously are talent deprived, and they are the underdog. I think it was 8.5 point spread today. I would hate to see this become a game where they just get run over and they just stop running the football, because that really would irk the shit out of me. And remember, what's tough? And they got to stop here, so we'll see if they end up going for it on 4th down. That's a critical stop for the Saints if this ends up being a punt or a turnover on downs. I'd hate the Saints to be in a position where they just kind of get run over here. And remember, the Bucs get the ball to start the second half, so you're trying to avoid them, doubling up. There's going to be an injury time out here for the Bucs. One of their offensive linemen's down. They don't take QB this year. I don't want them to, but look, I'm telling you guys, if they're picking number one, it's going to become a serious conversation of, do they pick number one? Do they take a quarterback? Do they trade out of that? Do they just go BPA? I think, in my opinion, you either take the quarterback if you're picking one, or you trade out. I don't believe in sitting there and just taking the BPA at one. If you get value, see where your number one guy and your number three guy match up on your board, and maybe you get the number three guy, but a shit ton of picks after that. And all of a sudden that haul that you get is good for 2027 or even the 2026 draft. Maybe you just load up on picks in that class. So we'll see. Again, it all depends where they land. Looking around the league today, though, you got some interesting scores. You got some really, really interesting scores. You got the Titans right now up on the Browns. If that holds, Saints are going to probably move up the draft board. What else do we have here that's pretty fascinating? Commanders are down right now. That team could suddenly start to fly up the draft board. Dolphins are winning over the Jets. If the Jets are able to make a comeback there, that gets really, really fascinating. So it's way too early to see how the draft board's going to shake up. We're probably not going to figure it out until maybe like the last week of December, and then maybe we have to wait till week 18, honestly, in January. I think when people talk tanking, it makes sense in basketball as there are less players than in football, and you need to evaluate your talent so you see where your needs are versus NBA. I think that's fair. There's 53 guys on a roster. It's so hard to tank in this sport. It's really hard. And you got to make evaluations. The one thing I'll say about the NFL, excuse me, as I just try to get through my thought while yawning. The one thing about the NFL is everyone is, not that the NBA isn't like that. You get fired at any moment in the NBA. NFL is really the, not for long type. The motto of not for long is what they think the NFL stands for. You don't have a lot of time. You really got to prove it fast. 4th and 1, Bucs are going to go. They're going to go with a run. It's up the middle. It is stuffed. The Saints defense yet again on 4th and short comes to play. Demario Davis with a stop, and the Saints are going to have great field position here. Brandon Staley's defense is doing their damn job. They're doing their damn job. Run the football now, offense. Get something going. You got 2.5 minutes left before this goes to halftime. Don't let the Bucs touch the ball the rest of this half. That's got to be the objective if you're the New Orleans Saints. Can I hold on to the football, and can I put points on the board going into halftime? Beautiful stand by the Saints defense. Beautiful. What would it cost to get Brian Thomas Jr. from the Jags? I don't know. I think his value is going to slip, though, as the months go on. Bottom line, if you remain top 3, you have to trade out and acquire more picks. And don't disagree with that. That's not Mickey's MO, though, so I think that's where it could be kind of tricky. Who that 71291 says, DeMario's still giving it all. He has another year in him. I mean, he's still a sure tackler. Salman does he hit that hole like a motherfucker. Oh, my God. He met Tucker right at the summit, man. That's got to be tough. Offense has to get something going here, man. Have to get something going. Looks like holes in the backfield. Mason Tipton motioning out wide. They're just going to stick with a run, and they're going to gain about 3 or 4 yards. Man, stop going for it on 4th Tampa. Maybe stop going for it on 4th Tampa. Who dat? Yeah, I mean, those run plays on 4th down aren't working. Would you be on Kyler Watts this offseason if we draft Arvell Reese? I mean, I was very pro Kyler coming into the NFL. I don't think I have flipped my position on a player more than Kyler Murray. And I think Kyler Murray is a very talented football player. At the end of the day, though, you either got it in terms of the desire to play this sport or you don't. And I don't know if he has it. And I think he's very talented, though. I will say that. So I'd say no, but we'll see. So this is going to hit the 2-minute warning here in Tampa. Like I said, Saints want to, in my opinion, I don't want this ball going back to Tampa. So maybe I'm running again here on 2nd down. We'll see. Xavier says that's how I was on Justin Fields. Yeah, and look, Fields I wasn't that high on as everyone else. I didn't think it would look this bad, though. I thought Justin Fields would have, enough highs where, the lows are all right, you know what? He had a horrible game, but I think he'll bounce back next week. It got so bad this year, and I don't know. I didn't see that, man. I really didn't see that coming. I think this wide receiver room is giving me 2021 vibes. LOL, I think 2021 room might have been better. I'll never forget when the Saints had to play Kevin White. If they get Kyler, do a podcast where you just scream nonstop, coddle the video game playing lazy bum despite all his talent. I think the Kyler discourse is going to be so fascinating because I think there's going to be a couple of teams that will be really, really interested in him. Like if you're the Minnesota Vikings, why wouldn't you be interested in Kyler Murray? I mean, I'd also see iComedy's mentioning Mac Jones. I would be interested in Mac Jones if I were the Vikings for sure. For New Orleans, I don't think, and by the way, for Mac, Adam Schefter was talking about it. He says it's going to be a day 2 pick. So whether that's a second or a third, it's going to be a day 2, he said. I think Kyler's going to have a couple spots. The Raiders are always in the quarterback market. Jets could be one of those teams that says, hey, let's get a vet and then draft around. Although if I'm the Jets, I'd probably just take a quarterback. Rumor is they love Mendoza, but they're starting to play themselves out of it. You know? Do you think Trubisky would be a good quarterback, a good buy low kind of quarterback? Not sure. I mean, we really haven't seen him play meaningful football in years, so it's tough to say. Kyler Murray is just this generation's version of Sam Bradford. Like the idea of the player is probably better than the actual player. I think that's kind of fair to say. Yeah, definitely fair to say. And look, I love Kyler's talent. At some point, you either produce or you don't. And the production hasn't been there that much. You can argue their offense has been better with Jacoby Brissett this year. I think the numbers would probably back that up. Now, a lot of it is probably garbage time as well, but, you know. Wonder if you could get McCarthy for the cheap now for the Vikings. Would you want him, though, is the question? Like, if Kevin O'Connell can't figure it out, it's tough. Second down, they're going to run it with Devin Neal, and this one is going to get blown up by a penalty. And let me just say something. Because this is where I get aggravated. You just came out of the 2-minute warning. Why do we have a false start on the first play out of the 2-minute warning? Unfucking believable. It's shit like this. And guess what, guys? Now you're behind the chains yet again. Unbelievable. They've been consistently behind the chains today. And now you're probably not running it. And even if you are, backed up. So it's so frustrating. And that falls on coaching, man. Tampa's going to blitz. Shuck's going to throw that one underneath to Olave. There is more laundry on the field. Freaking shocker. We'll see who this one ends up getting called on. It looks like are they calling this against New Orleans? Olave looks furious right now. Yep, and it's on New Orleans again. Yeah, so outside of the 2-minute, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? Back-to-back penalties. Back-to-back fucking penalties. And I'm sorry that what's so frustrating is this is a damn winnable game. And this is how you lose a game. 2nd and 16 now. It was 2nd and 6 a minute ago. And that, I mean, you know, that could have maybe got him in the neutral zone there. Don't end up getting flagged. Shuck's going to throw that underneath to Jawan. Jawan is going to gain a lot of the penalty yardage back. It is 3rd down coming up, though. We'll see if Tampa calls a timeout and presses the issue here. And they're going to have to anyway. Man's down on the field, so. Good pickup of 12, though. Good pickup there for the Saints offense. At least make this a little bit more manageable. But what a mess. What an absolute mess this first half has been in terms of penalties. I know that Hale Mendoza says, I know we're talking about quarterbacks in the draft, but this team might need a new head coach. I totally agree with you. I know I sound like a broken record. There is not a single thing. There's not a single thing Kellen Moore does that excites me from a play calling perspective. So I don't know. We'll see. So maybe my stance on this all will change, but right now I'm not big on the Kellen Moore. 3rd and 4 coming up. They're going to run it with Devin Neal. Devin Neal's going to find a crease. He is going to get stuffed short, though. You got to go for it on 4th down. You got to go for it here. Clock is running which I think if in New Orleans, you kind of like that, right? Let the clock bleed a little bit and then make your decision at the end of maybe like 5 seconds left on the play clock, maybe make your decision. But I think you have to go for it here. I'm not punting this football. You're obviously not kicking a 50-plus yarder in this weather. This is a straight go for it, in my opinion. If you get stuffed, you tip your cap and say you got stuffed. But I'm going for it. I'm also not running the tush push, though. Do not run the tush push. Looks like Shuck's killing it at the line. With the toss to Devin Neal, and that thing is blown the fuck up. Hey, guess what? Do you remember what I said about earlier today when the Bucs got stuffed on 4th down? I said I don't like toss plays on 4th and 1. Well, guess what? He ran the fucking toss play. Get Kellen Moore the fuck out of here, man. I'm so tired of his fucking coaching. I really am. What a stupid fucking play call. Oh, man. And now you're looking at it as like if Tampa can double up here, like total dumb play call right there. I don't get it, man. Can't get a yard. Can't run the football. Just pathetic, man. Comes Baker, 1st and 10. He's unloading deep. That ball gets swatted. It's going to be 2nd down coming up. Saints can't get a yard ever. Yeah. I mean, like we just said before, we literally talked about the toss, and we were being fair, right? We were talking about it from the Bucs perspective, and I said like I don't like those toss plays, and that's after the Saints gotta stop. I was like, I hate those plays, and then Kellen Moore just runs it. He runs the same exact fucking thing. For the love of God, don't put Taysom Hill. Nuke the franchise. That was a total dumb play call. Yeah, I agree, guys. Thoughts on Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame? I mean, I think we talked about this last week, Xavier. I could be wrong. They're going to go underneath. That play's blown up. Really good recognition from Granderson. So 3rd and 10. Just get off the field here would be great. By the way, Carl Granderson's having an outstanding half of football. Outstanding half. So shout out to him. To get back to your point, though, Xavier, I think Jeremiah Love is an outstanding player. He is a legitimate game changer, and he's the type of guy that I think immediately fixes your run game. Do you have the right guy scheming things up, though? I think that's my question. And would the Saints be willing to take him top 3? My answer is probably no. But that's why I love the idea of trading back and maybe picking him 8 or 9. Could you imagine, like, gaining a lot of picks and then still getting a really, really good playmaker in Jeremiah Love? That would be my preferred. Bucs obviously got a decision to make here on this 4th down. Could be 4th and 1. I feel like we're in the bizarro world. This is like going right back to where we were when they got stuffed before. So, but yeah, I really, really, really love Jeremiah Love's skill set. I know that sounds stupid, but I mean, I just don't think they're going to take him, though. And I don't want to get my hopes up because I think he is by far the most fun prospect to watch in this draft. It's probably between him and Arvell Reese. I really think Arvell Reese's tape is awesome. So we'll see. 4th and 1. Man, it is pouring. It is freaking pouring. See if the Saints can get the stop here. Gotta imagine Bucs might throw it here. Oh, they're gonna, yep, and they're gonna get it. Fucking shocker. Tired of seeing freaking Baker run for 1st downs, man. Tired of seeing it. Ugh. Baker's going to drop back. He's going to step up in the pocket, throw it over the middle, and that thing, I think that was deflected. Incomplete. So, 2nd down coming up. I am. I'm quite frustrated. I know it's raining, but this is one of those games that, yet again, it feels winnable if you had a good coach, and they don't. And again, you have the lesser roster in terms of talent, and yet I do believe if you had a better coach, I think that you would be winning this game right now. I truly feel that way. Comes second down. Baker's going to take the snap. It's going to throw left. It's going to be underneath. Going to be about a gain of 4. Bucs going to hurry this one up. Obviously, with 10 seconds left, you're just playing for the field goal. So they're going to have the chance to double dip. We'll see. Should be 10-10. Yeah, I think that's fair. Also, would have loved to see Shuck roll out and have a one-on-one matchup with Vele. I like the odds. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, hey, look, Vele broke out in the second half of last week's game. Maybe we'll see something similar this week. Or not. I don't know what to say at this point. 3rd and 5. If you're New Orleans, obviously don't want to give them any more easy yardage. Let them, if they're going to kick a field goal, make it be a 54-plus yard attempt. Saints are going to call a timeout. Who gets second half kickoff? I missed the beginning of the game. It is going to be the Bucs. They're going to get the second half. So that's the problem. You really want to avoid them doubling up here, but we'll see. How many players do we think are going to be out with illness next week? Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I think this type of weather is not good for your health at all. There's no way. Like running around, getting smoked in this pouring rain. Lava's having a brutal game. Yeah, it hasn't been good. Hasn't been good so far. Whole second half, though, for him to turn it around. With a bipolar head coach with an infuriating offense, consistency is a foreign concept. Yeah, I think that I don't think he knows. Like, there's no conviction in what he does. As the Bucs are going to gain yardage here, and that will make this a much more manageable field goal attempt. There is a flag. Now we got some after the whistle extracurricular nonsense going on. It looks like they're pointing it's going to be in Tampa's direction. We'll see, though. Yeah, the pass interference on Tampa's offense. So Saints might get lucky. They might get lucky and get out of here without the Bucs even attempting a field goal. And in a game like today, any points wiped off the board will be huge because this weather's not letting up. So this is going to be an ugly game for sure. Seven seconds left on the clock. Brandon Staley's working miracles with defense. I think Brandon Staley's been the better coach between him and Kellen Moore by a country mile. By a country mile. Because Brandon Staley is working with, guys that you're really working with a bunch of rookies. You're working with, it's a mix of rookies and guys that we thought would have been out of the league after how they played last year. And DeMario and Cam have looked way better this year than last year. I think that's a testament to the coach, as the Saints looks like they're going to call another timeout here because Kellen Moore has realized that you can't take them into the half, so you might as well freaking use them and discuss. It's your boy X and pick 6, please. How about this? If it is a pick 6, I'll buy you, within reason, a Saints shirt. You pick the player you want, and I'll get you it if it's a pick 6 on this play. And I'll stay true to my word. I got you. I'd love to see a pick 6 in this spot. That'd be a Saints shirt I'd happily ship to wherever you're at. So 3rd and 15. I'm imagining if you're Tampa, you want like something out, and that's not going to be the case. So 4th down. So I think now you're in Hail Mary mode. My offer still stands on the shirt, though, if they get a pick 6 on the Hail Mary, which I don't think is going to happen, but we've seen it before. We've seen the Jets had one. Bucs fans are mad. Get over it. What are Bucs fans mad about? Their team is like consistently in the playoffs at this point. Fire Moore, keep Staley as head coach. Well, I don't want Brandon Staley as head coach, and we've seen how that goes. But he's a very good defensive coordinator, though, and I have to give him a lot of props. Not even close, and the sad part is that defense has improved under Staley as the offense has, it has regressed with Kellen. So I agree, man. Baker drops back. Going to step up in the pocket. He's going to uncork one deep, and that one is going to be thankfully knocked down. I thought that was going to end up being some nonsense, deflected into a Bucs player. So ugly half. Saints are going to be trailing 10-7. But, man, I'll tell you, and I said this about a minute ago, you take points off the board, you live with it. And I thought, hey, if Tampa's able to tack on an extra 3 here and then get the ball to start the second half, it makes things a little bit more complicated for the Saints. So not a good half of football after a really good first quarter for the offense. But the ability to take some points off the board there, in my opinion, is critical for this team. So that's where I'm kind of at right now with the Saints. Now, as for halftime observations and what this team needs to do to be better, I think it's pretty freaking simple. I think the Saints have to find a way to get ahead of the sticks. And it sounds like, routine shit. It sounds like, football 101. How many 2nd and 13s and 3rd and 15s and 3rd and 17s have the Saints been in today? They cannot continue to play behind the sticks and expect to win this football game. And this is a winnable football game, guys. This is a very, very winnable football game for this team. Look around right now. It is a 10-7 game against a 7-win team that is probably going to be in the playoffs. And you started off the first drive. Granted, the rain wasn't as relentless as it is right now. Spreading the football around, a throw to Vele, took a deep shot to Olave, got a throw over the middle to Juwan Johnson. And unfortunately, the Saints passing game has completely disappeared since that opening drive. The only one who has really made any plays in the passing game is Juwan Johnson right now, 3 catches for 30 yards. Got to get either Vele or Olave involved. Obviously, the pick with Olave and Shuck being on the wrong page, not great, because that ends up spotting Tampa Bay 3 points. But I'm going to keep saying this until I'm red in the face and I pass out on this live stream. Run the football early on first down, maybe even second down. Try to make sure you're not playing 2nd and 12, 3rd and 13. Like, this has to stop. So that has to be better. And I think at this point, Kellen Moore has to have conviction in anything that he does. And the fact that I have to say this at week 14 means he's just not going to be a coach that makes decisions with conviction. That 4th and 1 toss play to me shows a lack of awareness. Tampa Bay got blown up a couple plays earlier on a 4th and 1 doing a toss play. Why would you run the same thing with a running back in Devin Neal who doesn't have good sideline to sideline speed? So I don't love that play call. I don't love what the coach has done, outside of a really, really good opening drive. And defensively, I will say, I think the Saints, the one fix they got to make, and if they can make this, I think this is going to continue to be a really close game that could get decided, at the end of this fourth quarter, is whether or not they could stop those Baker runs. Those have been killers, in my opinion. Because in terms of run defense, the Saints, for the most part, have done a good job. Bucky Irvin's had a 12-yard run. Outside of that, he's got 11 carries for 18 yards. He's not exactly getting it done. Rashad White's not getting it done. Godwin's their leading receiver with 36 yards. Baker Mayfield, though, 3 carries for 18 yards. That has to be better. And all those runs from Baker Mayfield, I believe, have been first down. So I think for New Orleans, defensively, that's the one thing I'm going to say. Other than that, I think even though they've given up 10 points, I think that they've played really well defensively for the most part. And I think for them, they're going to have to continue that for them to have any chance of winning this game, because offensively, it has just been a grind for this team. So again, it's still early. Still got a whole other half of football left to play. But if the Saints are going to win this game, if they're going to pull off this upset, they're going to need a bounce back performance in the second half from their offense. And they're really going to need their run game to give them something here. So whether or not that can happen, time will tell. But I think that's paramount. And I also want to throw this in too before I get to your comments, guys, because I feel like I have to acknowledge this, or else it'd just be a bad job on my end. Penalties are egregious right now. The Saints have been penalized 6 times already. Way too much. So gotta figure that out. So let me get into comments you guys have. Leroy with the super chest says, better take that shot to ease your sorrows. I told you, man, if I wasn't getting behind the wheel at about as soon as this game ends, I'd take a couple shots with the way this offense is played, but I guess I'll save my shots for there. But it is brutal with the way they played, and maybe it will ease my sorrows if I just take one now. So we'll see. Maybe you're convincing me there. Brandon says a lot of shooting ourselves in the foot. Absolutely. D23 says Kellen Moore disaster class, just unable to get the fundamentals right. Yep. Leroy says if people think Kellen Moore is a good head coach, you're delusional. That pitch backwards on 4th and 1, just ridiculous. Yep. And D23, we were talking about it before that play. We were talking about Tampa Bay. We're like, man, I hate that play call for Tampa Bay. I thought Tampa Bay made a really bad decision on that one. And then Kellen Moore is like, hey, if you can do it, I can do it. And that's what we get. So to me, that just really, really bothered me. Really bothered me. We made kicking a field goal look like trying to win the lottery. Yeah, I think, the kicking game has been so bad for this team that I just don't even, I assume it's a miss at this point. When it goes in, you guys can see my reaction. I'm like, oh wow, it's like 3 points. But no, it's always a grind for them. Kellen Moore can go. I've seen enough. He's not a head coach. I don't disagree with you, but I don't think he's going to go. You know what bugs me the most? About Kellen is when you listen to the interviews, he always says obviously in every sentence. If it's obvious, then why do you struggle so much? 2 things he loves to say: obvious, and he loves to say it's unfortunate. Like he was talking about Justin Tucker's allegations. He's like, well, it's unfortunate what happened. I don't know if that's the word I would use for it, but it is what it is. But he's an interesting coach. Obviously, in terms of media, it's tough. Michael Morgan with the super chat. Thank you for the support. Says, can't win the NFL if you can't run the football. Yeah, I think that is an absolute truth. And, looking right now, Tyler Shuck is the Saints' leading rusher. I'm going to say that again. Tyler Shuck is the Saints' leading rusher. He's got 1 carry for 11 yards. Devin Neal's got 4 carries for 6 yards, and Evan Hull's got 1 carry for 4 yards. Why do you insist on dropping back and throwing a million times in this rain? Don't understand it. Don't get it one bit. Don't matter if Shuck or if a Rattler, because his offensive staff is horrible and the low line sucks. Probably not wrong. It's your boy X. Shaheed just scored a touchdown on a kick return for Seattle. That's awesome, man. I'm really happy for Shaheed. Genuinely. I know my tone isn't exactly I'm so thrilled for Shaheed. I am. Shaheed's an awesome dude. I was a little confused as to why he wasn't getting his touches in Seattle, because it's not like he has to learn a new system. He just reunited with Clint Kubiak. But I think that, there's a really good opportunity for him, and we'll see. I think, Shaheed's value might show up in the playoffs, right? Because a big kick return could swing the tide of a game. So shout out to Shaheed for that. That's awesome to see him play well and make a big play. So always want to give him his flowers when I can. Got a super chat here from Derek saying, keep Grando and Cam is washed as a liability. First off, thank you for the support, Derek. Second, yeah, look, I think Cam's coming off a really good game. You could argue that it was the matchup, but Grando's been awesome today. This has been Granderson's best game, arguably, of the season. And Cam's been the better player, though. I want to make that very clear. For today, though, obviously it will be matchup based, but I didn't look at today's first half on defense, but they got to make massive changes. I really don't. I think they just got to, if you're going to blitz Baker, you can't let the C's part and him run up the middle for a first down. That's the only knock I have on the defense today. I genuinely think the defense has been really, really good. Do you think our kickers aren't good, or the special teams coach isn't good? I think it'd be both, to be quite honest. But I definitely don't think that the kickers are any good either, though. Because at some point, even if you want to blame the coach, they still got to kick the damn ball. So, yeah. Baker knows how to win. He escapes the pocket effectively. Baker is a winner. I don't think there's any denying that. I do think, though, a lot of it has been the way the Saints are rushing. You put so much emphasis on getting him off the edge that if the interior kind of collapses, he's got that window to just step up and abandon ship, and he's done it pretty well. I feel like so many problems would be fixed if we had a decent O-line. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that one bit. So, we're in agreement on that. If you were Mickey Loomis, who would you even have hired as head coach to even consider Rizzy? Rizzy was considered. It went a different way. I would say I'd argue Rizzy probably had better game plans than Kellen Moore. I think Kellen Moore is a lack of preparation with the Saints. So, I don't think that's a hot take on my end. We're so bad. We're selling for Shaheed. Good for him. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Rashid. You know, it's got to be tough, even when you get traded. Like, obviously, going to new scenery, it's got to be tough. And I think to come out and put yourself in a spot where you have to really just kind of work your way up the ladder right now, and at least that's what it seemed like. He's done a marvelous job. So I don't have anything bad to say about Rashid. I love him. I hope he continues to get his reps there in Seattle, quality reps, I would say. Kellen said, "Hold my beer on the 4th and 1." Lord, did he ever? Lord, did he ever? And man, I'm so tired of it because at some point it can't be rocket science to gain a yard. Shit's got to be better. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Kellen's obvious reminds me of DA's clean that up. Yeah, DA should have been a fucking janitor with the way he kept saying clean it up. Everything was got to clean this up, got to clean this up. Groupie 1 for 1 as a Colt. Is he really? Yeah, go figure. Go figure. What was the length? It's 28 yards. I mean, he's probably missed a 28-yarder with the Saints. Demario at 90 years old, still balling. Yeah, look, defense has been good, man. Demario has been good, though. Had that crucial fourth down stop. So others have Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. I've got Tyler Shuck. Yeah, I mean, you can say that to a lot of teams, though, but I get your sentiment. It is kind of tough, right? When you see, I always say, like, so week 1 of this season, right? Lamar and Josh Allen are battling on Sunday Night Football. And I sat to myself and like, man, like, it's like you're watching gods at quarterback and then you watch your team. It's like, oh, well, we're bringing a water gun to the fight. You know, that's about it. So it's kind of tough. That interception was Olave to blame, Margaret asked. Technically, we don't have the answer to that question yet. We will find out after the game. But I'd have to imagine that he ran the wrong route based on what the coverage was. Either based on the coverage, maybe it was like an option, or he just ran the wrong route. But obviously, Shuck's thinking he's going to go. It's going to be go all the way through, and Olave's coming back to the football. So why don't we try some RPO with Shuck in short yard situations? I don't know. I wonder if the slick conditions play a little bit of a factor in that. I mean, I wouldn't mind them doing that. Opening drive, you ran with Shuck once. He gained 11 yards, and then the next play, you went to go back to an option, and you keep it with Devin Neal on the ground, and he ends up getting you a touchdown. So I don't understand why the Saints haven't been more aggressive, but at some point, something has to change. You know, I don't understand. And again, I get it. Talent deprived, all that. You got to find things that work, and once you find it, stick with it. And I don't even think the Saints, and Kellen Moore specifically, I don't think he even knows what he wants to run, where he feels like, hey, I think this could comfortably get us X amount of yardage. I don't think he sees it that way. So this is the spot you're kind of just stuck in. And it freaking sucks, man. It freaking sucks. That throw to Olave reminded me of that time Derek got caught on the "Hey Derek, it wasn't there" sound bit. Yeah, look, I think as we get closer to the second half's about to begin here in Tampa. I think the one thing I can say confidently, if the Saints can't run the football any better than what they did in the second half, because that's in the first half, because that first half was abysmal. They can't run it any better than what they did in the first half. They will lose this game. And if they can run it just a little bit better, I think you open up yourself a window because I think your defense has played well enough that they're going to give you a chance. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, you guys, I see Ransom saying Mendoza, come on down. It is what it is. Like, that's the life of the NFL. If you're going to pick number 1, it'll be a discussion for sure. And if you're not picking number 1 and your quarterback plays you out of it, it'll be great. It's your boy says, what happened to Jaden Daniels? I just saw on Red Zone. I saw him limping. Can we keep it a buck for a sec, guys? Jaden Daniels had no business playing today. This is not me blaming Jaden Daniels. This is me blaming the Commanders. Why in the world would you play your young quarterback who's already been injured 3 different times this season? Knee injury, I think hamstring, and then the dislocated elbow. Got to give Jason Light his props. He knows how to make a team good after franchise quarterback. And like the Saints, yeah, he's drafted well. And then obviously hitting on Baker with that signing was good for them. Do you think Love will be available in the second round due to not many teams needing running back? No, I think when guys like Jahmyr Gibbs pop, it gives you a little bit more incentive to say, hey, we could take it first round if he's the right guy. Jaden Daniels had no business coming back a few weeks ago. Yep. I agree. I agree. Wes has been good moving the ball in the second half, so hope he can get something going here. I hope so, Wes. I really hope so. Be honest, even if we get playmakers, we have no time to throw, so it wouldn't change anything. Yeah, I do think that's part of the factor there. No question about it. No question about it. Our quarterback room next year is going to be Nuss, Rattler, and Shuck. God, no. God, no. Get Nussmeyer out of here, man. 1st and 10 for the Bucs. Ends up being a run for no yards, so. Run defense with Chris Rump picking up right where it left off. And, I think, look, you've seen the breakdown here. That third down, I think the third down one's the key. Over 4 on third down is going to do you in. You're losing the time possession battle pretty well. Literally losing every single important stat. Saints are on the wrong side of it. Comes 2nd and 10. Got to imagine this is a passing situation here for Tampa. And it is. Baker drops back. Going to throw over the middle. And that is caught for the first down. Chris Godwin. Godwin's having a steady game so far. I just thought about it now, because you guys were talking about the Colts before with Daniel Jones. As someone who has Jonathan Taylor in fantasy, that probably is going to do me in come playoff time, right? Like, you're going to have teams that are just going to say, hey, we're just going to stack the box and make Riley Leonard throw the football. 1st and 10 from Tampa's 32. Going to be a little bit of a jump pass to Cade Otton. Cade Otton's going to gain the first down. They're going to mark him about a half yard short. Thought he was going to gain the first down there. Yeah, having Tyler Warren on my fantasy team is not looking good. Yeah. So I actually got dealt a pretty brutal blow. So the Daniel Jones injury, I wonder how that affects Jonathan Taylor. And then, I'm sorry, I'm talking about fantasy, guys, for a sec. I promise I will shut it down in a sec. And then the other thing I was going to say was, you're also looking at, so I have CeeDee Lamb. That's my guy. That was my top pick. He got a concussion on Thursday. Like, is he going to play on next Sunday? Like, that's a little bit of a question mark. And, if he doesn't play, I'll have to readjust. Baker's going to throw that. It's picked off by Alontae Taylor. Alontae Taylor picks that one off and gets over to the 47. Would you look at that? This is so typical, man. Start crapping on Alontae Taylor a little bit. Like, oh, he's not playing well, whatever. And he comes up with a huge interception for the New Orleans Saints. Wow, so the Saints are they're in business here. Got to get some points, man. Got to get some points. Receiver quit. It did look like it. Watch us not do anything with this as per usual. Run the football, please. Bet that defense is just happy to get some seat time. LOL, they're gassed. I mean, they might as well not sit, though. With the way this offense is played, they might have to get their ass back on the field. So we'll see. Great play by Alontae, though. Can't waste the takeaway. Got to get something here. Excited to see how we managed to not turn this turn this turnover into points. That's what Baker gets for not throwing a Buka. Panthers loving that. Yeah, they are, man. Alontae did something. Holy shit. That's his second pick in the last 4 games. JSN, does he dominate with small frame? How does he dominate with small frame? His route running, man, pristine. He's awesome. But honestly, you make an argument he should be offensive player of the year. Honestly, I'd give my vote to either him or McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey's season has been pretty underrated in terms of what he's done as a pass catcher, because it has been some sensational stuff from him. Not gonna lie, Brandon said he's doing a good job with what he has at his disposal. Genuinely bright spot. He has been, man. He has been. I think Alante should get as much as Snead or just a little less. Let me go to Legarius' contract. One sec. Let me just pull that up. I forgot what Tennessee gave him. 4 years, 76. I don't know. I will say this: Legarius Snead's best football is better than Alante's best football. So that's why I would not give him. I can't give him that, but I don't know. I wouldn't feel great about that contract, to be honest. First down coming up. Mason Tipton in motion. How about we run the football here? And they do just that. Devin Neal's going to gain about 5 or 6 yards there to open this drive. Let Devin Neal run the football, but obviously it's going to be important about not having penalties. I mean, those have been the killers. Let's watch this one again here. Yeah, I mean, your receiver's just loafing himself on that. What the hell is going on there? Like, are you throwing to Johnson again after that one? 2nd and 5. Actually, ahead of the chains for now. Hope I don't regret saying that. I probably will. Devin Neal's going to bounce this to the outside. Can he gain the first down? He will, and he gets blasted out of bounds a little bit. But first down, though, for the Saints. Keep it moving with the rookie. Keep it moving with the rookie. Let him gain some yardage here and get this offense rolling in the right direction. Man, that Tampa crowd, a lot of empty seats right now, and I can't freaking blame them. Who's trying to get poured on in this, not the way these two teams are playing either. 1st and 10, empty formation. Shuck's going to keep it. If he gets a block, he could go. Shuck's going to go to the 20, to the 15, and it's a touchdown for Tyler Shuck. Touchdown, Tyler Shuck on the keeper, and the Saints have the lead. What a run from Tyler Shuck. Oh my goodness, and the Saints have pulled ahead. Finally using Shuck's speed to his advantage. Awesome stuff from New Orleans here. And you guys talked about it. Go back to the option. They do it right there. You get a key block from Devon Vele, and then Shuck's speed just takes it to the house. It's a foot race, and he wins that one, man. First career rushing touchdown for Tyler Shuck. Man, does that have to feel good. Awesome stuff from the Saints, and the extra point is good, which also feels like a rarity these days. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break so I can just grab a quick bite. We'll be back in about 3 minutes or so, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back here on the Straight Up Saints podcast. All right, we're back here, Saints fans. Sorry about that. Had to grab some lunch. 3rd and 11. Baker's going deep. And there, get the fuck out of here with that flag, man. That ref threw that flag with so much pride. Jesus Christ, man. That's a rough penalty. That's a costly penalty, too. That's a lot of yardage right there. And honestly, guys, we're going to look at this. If the Saints lose this game, penalty yardage is going to end up playing a huge factor. And it's an unnecessary penalty on Sanker's part. He's not getting that ball. He's not going to get to that ball. Just didn't have to do it, man. Jordan says groupie 2 of 2 as a Colt. Jesus, man. Go figure. Go figure. All right, so last week I took my break to eat some pizza. This week we're not doing pizza, but I am going to eat midstream, so you guys excuse me if I end up sounding like one of those TikTokers shoving food down their face. And here comes a run from White. It's going to be a first down. Typical of the Saints to get a touchdown on the board, feel like you're building some confidence, and then the defense kind of gives up a costly drive here where Bucs could go back on top. Going to be a run to White. He's going to gain another huge chunk of yards. So run defense was good for the majority of this game. This has definitely been a drive where they've been gashed. And obviously the timing of it couldn't be worse for New Orleans. There's a couple of holds that could have been called, man. Brzee was getting hold. Yeah, another hold over to the left. Another one with White, easy first down. Man, this is a bully ball drive. This is a straight bully ball drive right now. And the Saints are on the wrong end of it. That's for sure. But this is what you would love to do in a game of this weather, to be able to just hand it off 10 times in a row. That'd be it. Going with another run. This time it's going to be Tucker. Tucker's going to break through, and it is going to be 1st and goal from the 1 for the Bucs. So just when you start to feel good about the Saints defense, give you something rough. Number 1 priority should be interior defensive line. It's up there. I don't know if it'll be number 1 though, Leroy, but it's going to be one of them for sure. Yep. So that was a bully ball drive. Saints just got absolutely, hate to say it, there's no other word to use for it. They got absolutely bitched on that drive. Man, that was tough. And now you find yourself right back where you started, coming out of that half, down 3, and offense having the ball and maybe trying to put yourself in a position where you can win this game. But timing of it's brutal. Like I said, man, you get a really good drive there from your offense. Your D-line, as Weed@24 says, you get bullied. And yeah, look, that penalty is the killer. And we talked about it up there. We talked about it before. Penalties have been crucial. And, the key stat right now, penalties for the Saints, 7 for 69. It's legitimately a killer. Look, man, I think bad teams are going to be bad for a reason, whether it's talent, whether it's coaching, whatever. Saints are going to have about 100 yards of penalties today. And it's very hard to win a game with that many penalty yardage. It just is. And don't get me wrong, a lot of it is rookie mistakes, right? You have that PI, it falls on Jonas Sanker. It's a rookie mistake. Didn't need to hook him. But this is kind of this. These are the mistakes that a rebuilding team's going to make, and it's frustrating because it's week in, week out. But honestly, players are the players, but we lose on IQ. I swear, just not smart football. No, it's not, man. You're right, Matthew. I mean, in that spot, it's frustrating too because I consider Sanker a smart, even for a rookie. I consider him a pretty high IQ player. There's no need to hook there. There's no need at all. So, just really frustrating. And I wish that wasn't what happened, but it was. Bro, I'm so effing tired of this team, shitty GM coach, and players that don't know how to win. We need a vet to step the F up and get mad at these guys. I don't even know if that fixes anything, though, Leroy, to be honest. Like, there's 4 games left. They're staring 2-11 in the face. We'll see if the Saints can make a comeback here. They're only down a field goal, so it's there. But, I think, and I see you guys mentioning in the chat, the penalties it's frustrating. It's just hard to watch football when there's penalties left and right. And, man, it just makes you wonder what's going on during the week as well, that you're just not in a position to avoid shooting yourself in the foot a million times, I think that's what's frustrating. By the way, why does Sean Tucker love playing against the Saints? I feel like that man always scores a touchdown against them. And it's freaking annoying. First overall, if Titans win today, won't it? Or Raiders got it? Let me pull it up for you. Let's talk about it. So if the Saints were to lose, let's see. Yeah, Saints would. If the Titans win and the Saints lose, the Saints would own the number 1 pick going into Week 15. So take that for whatever it's worth. But yeah, that's what it'll be. Yeah, guys, if you haven't already, consider giving us a like here on this video and definitely subscribe because we got 4 games left, which means we got 4 more times that we get to do this until we wait for 2026. And I know, Saints football can be frustrating, but you know what's worse than Saints football? Not having football. That's the way I view it. Panthers got your back today, Johnny. Johnny, let's see, man. I hope we can pull it for you guys. Hope we can pull the upset here. I think the Titans fall to behind us and Giants take 1. I don't think. Well, do the Giants play today? Giants have a bye. So if the Saints lose today, Giants and Saints will both be 2-11, and the Saints' strength of schedule is weaker than the Giants, so I think that would give them the number 1 pick. I could be wrong, but I think that's the math. The only reason the Giants are ahead of the Saints right now is because the Saints don't have that 13th game played, excuse me. The Giants already do have that 13th game. Oh, I just burped on stream. I apologize, guys. They do have that 13th game played. We don't. I see. I love that Louis Riddick. You guys mentioned Louis Riddick. I love Louis Riddick's on Twitter just like shouting out all the rookies. He's been a big Tyler Shuck guy. I remember pre-draft process, he was vouching for him immediately. Third and 5 coming up. Big play here for the Saints. Want to keep this drive moving for sure. Juwan in motion. Shuck takes the snap. Got tipped in underneath. He's going to go to Juwan. Juwan gets hit pretty hard. He holds onto the football. Great job by Juwan. That is not... It's an easy catch up high, but you're going to take a little bit of punishment down low. Good job by Juwan. And now you got a new fresh set of downs. Maybe see if you get something moving in the ground game. And like I said, stay ahead of the chains. And they're going to go with a read option. Devin Neal's going to get a nice 5-yard gain. And by the way, this is what's going to happen when you have a mobile quarterback who is willing from time to time to make that pull like Shuck did on the previous drive and get that 30-yard touchdown. it just opens up a lot. It opens up a lot. So we'll see. That's a cruel graphic. Non-rookies younger than Tyler Shuck. J.J. McCarthy, Drake May, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, C.J. Stroud, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and Brock Purdy. The Brock Purdy one's interesting because he's got 4 years of experience already. It just shows the gap right there. Mason Tipton in motion on 2nd and 6. They are going to run it again with, oh my good, what a freaking hole right there. This team gets a huge gain. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Saints. So love to see that. Love to see that for sure. Who would you rather have as GM, Todd McShay or Louis Riddick? Louis Riddick. I really want the number 1 pick just to get the Jets, Raiders, Dolphins, Browns to move up and trade a handful of picks. If they go that route, I don't agree. I don't disagree with you at all. I don't know if they will, though. Quick complaint from me, because I can't help it. I just want to complain. Going up against JSN in fantasy is like the most annoying thing in the world. The most annoying thing in the world. Like, the dude is just an easy 20-plus points every freaking time. Oh man, that might be my favorite thing ever. Audric Esteem is like, who is that how you pronounce it? Esteem? I don't know. I don't even know how you pronounce it. And I usually like to think that I know how to pronounce players' names, but I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I don't know how to pronounce his name. At least not not in a way that sounds great. I'm going to switch over here. Got to plug this into the old charger. Second and 9 for New Orleans. Going to go with a run and Devin Neal. He's going to get to the outside. It's going to be a big gain to the 25. Oh, wow. What? Inside to the 20. Devin Neal, let the rookie run. Let the rookie run, man. Stamay. Okay. That makes way more sense. Thank you, iComedies. I appreciate it. Let's see the block here by Cesar Ruiz. Yep. Nice double team block right there. Olave's doing his job upfield. Awesome stuff there for the Saints. Now you got another red zone opportunity here. Going to run it again with Devin Neal. He's going to pick up about 2. It's going to be 2nd and 8. Gotta love the way this team is fought. Give me 1 second, guys. Just going to hit the charger for this. All right, 3rd down. I completely missed a down for a sec because my dumbass was trying to find the charger. Devin Neal, offensive rookie in the year. Yeah, wouldn't that be funny? But no, like to what you guys are saying, run the football, man. Run the football, open up a lot for this team. Third and 2. Saints going empty. No longer. Going to keep it on the ground, and they are going to get pushed for the 1st down. So the drive stays alive. It's going to be 1st and goal from the 7. So this is a good spot for the Saints right now. Good spot. 2 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. And now they're saying 4th and 1. I would maybe challenge it. I don't love that spot. I thought that was a clear 1st down. Instead, Saints are going to go, and this is where I get nervous and they get stuffed. They're going to go. They're going to roll out with Shuck, and Shuck's going to dump it off to Olave, and that's going to end up being a 1st down. So it was scary times, but man, also, why the hell was that rule short? And now there's a flag. So I'll just go fuck myself. quite frankly. Yep. First off, these refs, they fucking suck, and I don't know why he's not challenging that. And I know, I'm going to keep saying it again. Hindsight. If you have a first down, Kellen Moore, fucking challenge it and get your team the first down. Now it's a killer penalty, and you're in this spot. I mean, yeah, Cesar Ruiz is 17 yards down the field. You know what? Hard to complain about that penalty. And now Saints have to settle for a goddamn field goal. All right, well, that one's through. Yippee. Riveting stuff from the Saints. Guys, I'm really trying to be civil here. But it's a first down, and he's sitting there, and he doesn't challenge it? Come on, man. At some point, Kellen Moore's got to put his big boy pants on and understand what it means and what you have to do to be the head coach of a football team. Because right now, whatever this is, that isn't it. So, and honestly, I keep saying at some point he's got to do it. Ain't going to be shit. Because in reality, it's week 14. And the same shit that I was complaining about 2 months ago, I'm still complaining about today. There's no development to Kellen Moore as a head coach. Whatever, man. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Oh, you're also 2-10. You're 2-10. Throw the damn challenge flag. I mean, what are we doing? And also on the flip side, Cesar Ruiz he's been in this league too long to not realize, oh, I'm 18 yards downfield on this play. Unreal, man. Wizard 101 saying we're not going anywhere with this clown. I don't disagree. Cedric says challenge the spot, Kellen. Robertson, inexcusable. Kellen didn't challenge that clear first down. Atrocious. Ruiz is an idiot, I swear. I mean, look, like I'm going to rip on Kellen Moore, and I think it's rightfully so. Ruiz literally was 10 yards downfield. Is it not going to click with him? Unreal. All right, catching up on scores around the league real quick. Let's see what I'm missing. Actually, let's get to this kickoff just in case some funky business happens. It's going to be returned to the 25, bouncing off that and brought down around the 27. All right, let's see. We got Browns and Titans in a dogfight. Jaguars beating up on the Colts. Bengals beating the Bills right now, and that game's in the fourth quarter. Looks like Burrow's having a decent game. Steelers up 27-16 on the Ravens. Seahawks putting the beat down on the Falcons. Not too surprised with that one. And Vikings up 31-0 on the Commanders. What the hell? All right. 1st and 10. Shad White getting his cardio in on motion there, and the Saints are going to stuff the first run there with Bucky Irving. I still can't believe he didn't throw the challenge flag before. Like, oh, man. You're 2-10. What the hell do you got to lose? Can't stand Ruiz. Neither can I. I got to admire this team for their effort. They have to know the head coach has no clue, yet they refuse to lay down. The effort has been good, man. The effort has been good for sure. Second and 8. Let's see if the Saints can kind of put the Bucs in a tough spot on third down. Cam Jordan tips it. Oh my goodness, that could have been a pick. Great play recognition by Cam Jordan, though. Great play recognition. Man, if that was an interception, that kind of turns the game completely in the Saints' favor. Obviously, wasn't the case there, but oh, that would have been awesome. That really, really would have been awesome. Third and 8. Let's see if the defense can get off the field here with another stop. This has been kind of Chris Godwin territory today. And Baker steps up, looks to throw. And what did we say at halftime, guys? What did we say at halftime? It's the runs from Baker Mayfield when you don't get, when you're just letting the lane, the C just kind of split right there. And it's a clear window for him to step up. Obviously, he's still going to look to throw because Baker's a throw first type of guy, but just can't happen. It can't happen. And that one, in my opinion, falls on Brzee. Really, really frustrating, man. And God, Baker's so fucking annoying. I'm sure it's got to be like fun if Baker's your quarterback, but if he's not your quarterback, you just want your team to level the shit out of him. All right, so this one's going to, looks like the game clock is faster than the play clock. So we're going to go into the fourth quarter at, 17 apiece. Can Jim Mora still coach? LOL, get Kellen out. Can someone spy on Mayfield? They might need to. They might need to, honestly. With the way this has gone, these are killers. Every run so far from Baker has been for a first down. Honestly. Xavier says we need a Jackson Dart level hit. Let me tell you something, man. I think Jackson Dart's awesome. That dude got to start sliding and going out of bounds. Because at some point, those hits are going to add up. And you'll have one of those hits that you just might not get back up from very quickly. So I would be very cautious. Very cautious. How's this dude get away from us? I mean, look, watch that again. Like, Brzee's rushing. Obviously, you kind of get a little too overextended to the outside, and the lane kind of splits for him. So it's quite frustrating. Every run has been a backbreaker right now. Also, isn't the expedited review supposed to help with spotting the ball? It should. It's supposed to. I just, even though if it doesn't, let's say, you don't just say, oh, well, they didn't do the expedited review. Let's just go for it on fourth. Like, I'm going for it there. That's a difference between 4 points, hypothetically. And I think Kellen's got to have that in his mind, and I just don't think that he was. Why proposal? But if JJ requests a trade from Vikings, you trading our first form and picks from them? No. I mean, I know you're talking about Jefferson. I know you were correct yourself, but don't worry. I didn't think you were suggesting if we were trading a first for JJ McCarthy. Don't worry. I know you know ball. I don't know. I'd have to see what the offer would be, because the one thing, as much as I love Justin Jefferson, the Saints are not in a position right now where like trading for Justin Jefferson is going to fix the team or now don't get me wrong. That is, you talk about fixing your wide receiver room, because man, that is the key to it, right? Like, you get in a guy like Justin Jefferson, he's going to immediately fix the your wide receiver room looks. But I don't know. I think I'd be a little bit cautious about making a trade of that magnitude. I just think that could be a little bit dangerous. And again, I'm a huge fan of him, but I don't know if the Saints are in a position where they should give up like a top 3 pick right now for a wide receiver. And granted, he is arguably the best. He is the best receiver in the league. It's either him or Jamar. I probably would go Jamar actually, and then I would go Jefferson. But if they're 1 and 2, I'd have to see what the offer is. How about that? Can we go from there? Because I think the Saints are in no position to give up a, what's it called? First overall pick, let's say, if that's what it is, Back to the game, 2nd and 7. We're approaching the 14-minute mark here in the fourth. Going to be a run with Sean Tucker, and he is going to gain about 2 yards. 3rd down coming up. No way Justin Jefferson stays with that bum. JJ's quarterback. Yeah, I think Jefferson's going to want out. I do wonder, though, if they try to get a Mac Jones in the building to try and fix their offense a little bit. I don't know. I think it's a possibility. Third and 4. Watch out for the Baker runs. Those have been critical. Going to send DeMario up the gut. And once again, Baker's taking off. This time he's going to be short. It's going to be 4th and 3. Decision time for Tampa Bay. Yachi says, would love for the Saints to sign Rico Dowdle. I agree with you. I'd be all over that. I think Rico Dowdle would give your run game a much needed facelift. Fourth down, man. This might sound crazy, but this could be a play here. If you get a stop, this could be the difference in between winning and losing this game. 4th down, 4th and 3. They're going to blitz. Baker under pressure. He's going to roll out. He's going to throw it over the middle, and it's a wide open Chris Godwin, and it's incomplete. They're saying incomplete. It looked like he juggled the football. If that's the case, it's Kool-Aid McKinstry who would force that turnover on downs. Let's see the replay here. They're saying incomplete. I think it's incomplete. Godwin's not arguing the call. Oh, my goodness, man. Kool-Aid McKinstry might have just made the play that swings momentum in the Saints' favor. Yep. What a play by Kool-Aid McKinstry. Because that seemed to be one of those back-breaking, just, you know what? You get caught sleeping on 4th down. That's what happens when Baker extends a play. But no. What a play, man. What a play from Kool-Aid. I don't know, man. I said it earlier today. I'm going to keep saying it. I will take my chances with Kool-Aid McKinstry. The highs are really high, and I will definitely, go for that, as opposed to what we've seen elsewhere around the league with certain quarterbacks. So I'm all for living in the sometimes it's going to be a little risky, but sometimes you're going to get some really good plays from Kool-Aid McKinstry. And in that spot, I think that's an outstanding play. It looked like it was going to get, a quick hitter to Godwin, easy 1st down, and that ends up not being the case. So. And look, at this point, I'm going to keep saying it, guys. It's 17-17. You got a chance to upset the Bucs today. Go upset the Bucs. Don't lose this game and I come back here on this podcast for the 17th time this year and say, hey, look, man, they fought really hard, but it was in a loss. No. Go get yourself the win. Go get yourself the win. And honestly, go get yourself the win in a fashion where the ball's in your quarterback's hands now. Let's see who steps up. It's a great opportunity for some guys here. See what else we got going on here. Boblin Crispy. Oh, man. You're awesome, man. You're awesome. D doing good enough to win this game. Can the offense step up and take it? The season's history says no, but let's see what this shakes out. Yep. And look, it is it's a new opportunity. Every week for this Saints team is going to be a new opportunity. 1st and 10, go and play action. Shuck's looking, going to throw it underneath. It gets swatted. And thank God that was not going the other way, or else that would have been an absolute momentum killer for the Saints. It is funny though, right? We talk about running the football, and I don't mind after turnover rundowns if you're trying to go with a deep shot. I think that's something Sean Payton used to do an awful lot. Would love to see though the Saints not have a quick 3-and-out here, because man, that would be freaking brutal if that's the case. Second and 10. Taysom's going to be in motion. Going to hand it to Neal. Neal's going to cut back, and he's only going to gain maybe a yard due to forward progress, but 3rd and 9 quickly coming up for the Saints. And once again, we find ourselves in this type of spot. By the way, and I see Ed saying it, and you're absolutely right. I don't understand. I don't understand how you feel comfortable after not running it on 1st down, 2nd down, going to run. In my opinion, if you go 1st down, you go incomplete, it's 2nd and 10. That's a Pete Carmichael-esque call to go with a run on 2nd and 10. 3rd and 9. Shuck takes a snap. He's looking left. He's going to throw. It's going to be caught by Olave, and Olave is going to gain the 1st down and then some. Huge throw and catch right there. Olave takes a little bit of a shot, but hey, at this point, is what it is. The game's getting a little dirty. Gotta live with it. He'll be fine. Way to sit down in that soft spot of the zone right there. Now maybe run it on 1st down if you're the Saints. Olave in motion. Going to go with a run. Devin Neal's going to gain about maybe a little bit more. Those feet are still moving, so about 2 or 3 yards for Devin Neal. I will say for Devin Neal, I don't think he's ever going to be like a game-changing back, but I do think he's starting to show a little bit where he could be like maybe your number 2 next year, maybe minimum your number 3. And I think that's what you want to see. I don't think Devin Neal's ever going to be a game changer, but I think Devin Neal can be a pretty decent running back for the Saints. You need that game changer though. Now get me like a Jeremiah Love and then have him with a Devin Neal. I think that's a little bit more interesting. Or like a Rico Dowdle, obviously, if you go the free agency route. 2nd and 8. I think this has to be a throw here, but we'll see. Looks to pass. Has Olave short. Olave catches it. Another 1st down, Chris Olave. Chris Olave is starting to carve up the Buccaneers, and no better time than right now. No better time than right now. And, I said it earlier, obviously Olave had a really rough first half. That was, statistically bad. Everything was off for him. You got to let this game kind of play out. Good job by Shuck to step up a little bit and just zip it over the field. 1st and 10 from the Tampa Bay 29. Taysom Hill in motion. They're going to run it with Devin Neal. Devin Neal is going to split the gap right there, gain about 4. So Devin's starting to churn out some yards, man. He's starting to churn out some yards. Second and 6. Devin Neal on the sideline. Shuck's going to take the snap. He's going to keep it. He's going to roll to the right, and he's going to be brought down for a loss of about 2. 3rd down coming up for the Saints. And now if you're New Orleans, it's not just thinking about, where are you going to be in terms of whether or not you get a 1st down. I think you got to gain positive yards regardless right now, because even if you're thinking field goal, because right now you're at the Tampa Bay 27, 45-yarder from here is not a gimme with this weather, and obviously Charlie Smith's got a missed kick already, so. Dump off to Devin Neal. Devin Neal's going to gain a 1st down. Devin Neal keeping this drive alive, man. The Saints are going to keep the chains moving. 1st down, New Orleans. They are firmly in Tampa Bay territory now, inside the red zone. Great opportunity here to go up maybe 7. Devin Neal, by the way, he's a player. He's a player. He is absolutely shining in this second half. Great opportunity for the Saints here to get a touchdown. Tampa Bay timeout, 8:34 to go. Saints are going to be at the Buccaneers 13, 1st and 10. This is a huge drive, not only in the sake of you're trying to get 7 here, because it is going to be from the 13. We could be in a situation where if you're the Saints, gain another first down, take some more time off the clock, put the Bucs in a situation where maybe they're just going to be throwing next time around instead of as opposed to getting that ground game going a little bit. So this is a really good drive right now. It becomes a great drive if the Saints can finish this with a touchdown. Teams need to have the hard combo with AK. That's basically tell them retire or be released with a June 1st designation. That's kind of fair. We all love that draft pick on. We all love that pick on draft night. I saw Neal a lot at Kansas. He was awesome, man. And the one thing about Devin Neal, and I think this is why I think he's going to be a savvy football player, as Tyler Shuck is going to escape the pressure. He's going to roll to the 15. He's going to get to the 10. Tyler fucking Shuck. Tyler fucking Shuck again. Holy shit. That was like a John Elway-esque touchdown. Tyler freaking Shuck, man. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my God. That was like shades of John Elway. Oh my God. What a freaking play by the rookie. And the Saints now have the lead. Oh my God, man. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, man. I'm so freaking pumped right now. I am so pumped. What a play to avoid the rush. To avoid the rush, get outside of the pocket, and then make that play that he just did. Oh my God, man. I'm sorry. He's got those traits. I'm not drafting a quarterback. I'm not drafting a quarterback with the first overall pick next year. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And you know what? Like, it's not all going to be perfect. It's not. Like, there's going to be rookie mistakes with this kid at times. And I don't even know why I say kid, because he's a grown-ass man. But, oh my God, he just makes those plays. He makes those plays. He absolutely makes those plays. And I love how pumped you guys are in the chat. I love to see it. And you know what? I know people want the top pick. You rather, in my opinion, feel like, hey, the Saints can just go pass rusher or playmaker or whatever it is, right? Like, or Caleb Downs, like whatever. You want to feel like the Saints don't have to draft a quarterback with the top 3 pick that they're probably going to have. And man, this is it. Go take another position. Go take another position. Let 6 cook in 26. Do not draft a quarterback. He's the one. He's doing some stuff, man. He's doing some stuff that you got to be excited. You got to be excited. And if you're not excited, then maybe it's you just feeling like, hey, this isn't the quarterback that you wanted to succeed. And that's none of you guys. You guys are all fantastic, obviously. I'm just saying, like, there's such weird dialogue about this Saints quarterback situation where, like, man, if other rookies in different markets were playing like this, they would get praise. Tyler Shuck's got 56 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Like, are you kidding me? Unreal. Unreal play, man. Now it's all about the defense. They got a lead. Defense has a lead. Go make the stop. Go make the stop to put this game on ice if you're the defense. Shador, who LMAO is wrong about Chuck. It's all right, man. There's a lot of people who rip the Saints for not drafting Shador, and no knock on Shador. Shador's actually I think he's played pretty well today. But Chuck's been awesome in certain spots today. It's fun to see a rookie quarterback on the fly start to figure things out. And you're seeing it with Chuck today. And you know what? Don't go crazy over the passing yards and all that. And you know, obviously the pick earlier was today. Yeah, Shador's playing well. Shador's playing well. I said that before. But a lot of people clown the Saints, and I'm sorry, this is not a knock on Shador. I think Chuck has looked better so far than Shador. And even if you want to say no, all right. You know, you got a pretty close battle there. Bucs gonna have a great field position here, and Lord knows Saints can't catch a break when it comes to being good back-to-back in terms of offense stepping up and then defense getting them right back. Big hit there from Sanker. I don't care, but it's a dialogue on fucking social media, unfortunately. Louis Riddick. If Louis Riddick loves Chuck, he's loved him since Louisville. He did a lot of Louisville games with ESPN, obviously with their ACC deal. About 7 minutes to go. 2nd and 7. Baker's going to drop back, look to throw. He's going to throw one deep. Looks like good coverage from Kool-Aid. It is good coverage from Kool-Aid. It's incomplete. It's 3rd and 7. Shout out to Kool-Aid McKinstry. If Olave is paid reasonably and Bailey continues to pan out with Palmer coming back and potentially Polk panning out and Juwan being cerebral, so may not be that far on offense, I still think you would need to I think you still need to add a wide receiver. I'm not banking on Palmer and Jalen Polk being healthy. That's just football media. Can never find a non-biased evaluation of Shador. I know it's you know who loses? You know who loses? The poor player, right? Who has to deal with that nonsense if they have to deal with it. I don't know how much they hear about it. And also the logical fan, I guess. The logical fan ends up missing out. 3rd and 7, huge down here for the Saints. They're going to send a delayed blitz. He's going to go underneath to Godwin. Godwin's going to be short of the change. It's going to be 4th and 1. And the way the Bucs have played this game, I have to imagine they're going for it here. We'll see. It's not a lot of time left in this one. You could argue kick the field goal, but you're still down in possession. So I think Bucs are going to go. 2 wide receivers lined up to the right, 1 to the left. At the Saints 19, they're going to go with a run, and it is going to be a first down, barely, but it is. Man, wouldn't that would have been huge for the Saints had they got the stop. Defense is going to have to stay on the field a little bit longer here. Oh, God, Bengals just threw back-to-back picks. I didn't see the second one. I saw the pick 6. Was the pick 6 the second one or the first one of the back-to-back? First and 10 from the Saints, 18. And this one's going to get blown up here. False start on the offense. So at least it'll back him up a little bit here. Damn, DeMario almost made the play there. DeMario's been great today at times. But the run defense has been bad in the second half for sure. First one, ball got tipped and picked by D-Line in Buffalo. Oh, wow. Maybe the light bulb's finally on for Kool-Aid. Just saying, guys, Kool-Aid's best 2 games outside of, I know he had the turnover last week, and then obviously against the Giants, he had 2 picks on Dart. I would say in terms of just playing technically sound football, the way he played against Tampa the first time was great against Igbukah, and he's matched up really well against him today. 1st and 15 from the New Orleans 23. Baker's going to drop back. He's going to throw deep to the end zone, and it is going to be off the hands of Igbukah. Oh, my goodness, man. Oh, my God. That looked to be rookie-on-rookie crime. We'll have to see that again. I think Quincy Riley was in the area, but Saints definitely dodged a bullet there because that should have been 6. Wow, man. Yep, the double move right there got Quincy Riley. Yep. Just a little out and up, and that really got him. Thank God that ends up being an incomplete pass. Probably should still be caught, but maybe the throw should be a little bit better considering he's wide open, but 2nd and 15. Under 6 minutes to go. Baker takes the snap. They're going to rush it with Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving's going to gain yards, man. That was a nice little hesitation move. Only a gain of 2, though. 3rd and long coming up. Got to force them to attempt a field goal here or go for it on 4th down, whatever it is. But you cannot let this be one of those 3rd and long conversions again, which has been the case all game. It's been the case all game. Third and 13. Inside the red zone. Got Godwin at the bottom of the screen. Igbukah up top. Going to Cade Otton, and it is out of reach. 4th down, no flags. Tampa's going to have to settle for a field goal. Defense kind of did their job. I don't know what Baker's bitching about, buddy. It's not a fucking penalty. It's not a penalty. How about hit Igbukah in stride when he's open? You know what? It's a maybe it was a penalty. You know what? Keep crying though, Baker. You won't have to complain about a no call if you hit Igbukah right in the in stride on the play before where he's wide open. Bucs are going to have to attempt a field goal. Should be relatively short. Should be about 38, 39 yards. We'll see where they're going to mark it. 37 yards. Kick is up, and it is good. So Saints lead cut to 4. 5 minutes to go, man. Opportunity for the Saints offense to slam the door shut on the Bucs. So let's see if they take it. But as It's Your Boy X says, let's go win this game. I agree. Helmando says that it pays to be lucky. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. It's better to be lucky than good. Put this game away and go beat Tampa Bay. How about that? How about that? Baker, Mahomes love to complain. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, Mahomes is going to have to get his complaining ready for tonight in the sense that, you're facing a ferocious Houston defense. It'll get chippy. It'll definitely get chippy. By the way, Titans have the football. They're threatening, and they could go up 2 possessions. So, man, imagine if the Titans win, you could have a situation where the Saints win this game. Yes, people are going to worry about where they fall in the draft order. There is a scenario in play, guys, where the Saints can win this game, still be picking top 4, and only be a game out of the number 1 pick. Just saying. Just saying. So if anyone needed any more motivation as to say, hey, go for the win, there you go. Although I know some people probably are still thinking, hey, I want that number 1 pick. Trying to check the score of the Bills game on Red Zone there. Here comes the kickoff. It's going to be returned by Pettis. Should get at least to the 25 comfortably. He's going to get to the 35 about. 34, they're going to slam him down, but not a bad return from Pettis. There is a penalty, though. We'll see where it's on. It looks like it'll probably be on the fucking Saints at this rate. And we'll see. You never have a kickoff clean, Yep. Holding on the Saints. Going to back them up. You want competitive losses, no wins. I get it, but I want the Saints actually close the door on some teams too at the same time. So, I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle. I can't fault anyone for wanting competitive losses. I want to see the Saints win this game. So, that's just kind of where I'm at. 1st and 10 from their own 18. So, at this point, not really worried about the yardage as much as you're just worried about first downs. They're going to get it going with a Devin Neal run, and he's going to pick up about 4 yards to open up this one. So, not the worst play on first down. Bucs don't have to use their timeout right now. They could wait up. Man, Saints offensive line is beat up. Time for Neal and Shuck to win this on the ground. I agree, man. At some point, you got to think they're going to do a keeper with Shuck. When it'll be, I don't know, but you got to think about it. 2nd and 6 from their own about 22. They just get the snap off. They're throwing. They go to Taysom, and it is low and dropped. And I'm going to be quite honest, guys. Nothing in the direction of Taysom Hill ever works anymore. The runs don't work. The throws don't work. I do think that throw's a little low, though, so I want to see on the replay, and we're going to see right here. It is, but you'd also like him to just catch the fucking football at the same time. It's not a great throw, though. I'm not going to act like it was a great throw. But enough of Taysom. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And now you quickly find yourself in a 3rd down where you've only taken 40 seconds up off the clock. So management's key, and right now, mismanaged. Vele in the slot. Let's see if number 14 can make a play. He's looking towards Olave. He's going to throw over the middle to Vele, and Vele is going to make a play. Right on cue. Right on cue. Vele making a play. And the Saints pick up a first down. That is a crucial throw. Crucial throw. See, like, again, I know competitive losses, there's nothing wrong with that when you're rebuilding. Also, nothing wrong with your quarterback making some big boy throws, though, in this game. It's the way I view it. Still going to need at least another first down. Probably need 2. They're going to keep it. Vele with the block. Shuck's going to slide down. Only gain about 2. 2nd and 8 coming up. Bucs are going to use a timeout. Like, again, not a knock at all, but we've seen a lot of competitive losses. Don't you kind of want to see your rookie quarterback slam the door shut on a division rival, make some big throws, make some big runs? I don't know. That's just it's kind of where I'm at. And let me just say something. Best case scenario for today is the Saints win. Shuck looks like a franchise quarterback, but the Titans win, and you're still only a game away from the number 1 pick. You could be greedy. It's okay if we want to be greedy. We've been dealt a bad hand this season. We want to be greedy. We could. 2nd and 8. Let's see if they throw a run here. Going to go with another run. This time it's going to be kept with Neal. He's going to gain about 2. So 3rd and 6 coming up. A first down here doesn't technically ice it if I'm doing the math correctly. I think, yeah, a first down technically won't ice it. 2 first downs would ice it, but a first down here really puts it almost to bed. It's almost to bed. It's like you laid in bed. You need to just get one more first down to kind of tuck the sheets in. So 3rd and 5. Let's see if they go back to Vele. Maybe Olave. Olave's been critical on these 3rd downs as well in this second half. Got to imagine you throw it here. Keep the ball in your rookie's hands. He's looking at Vele. He's throwing towards Vele. It's caught by Vele. We'll see what the flag is. If it's on the Saints, this one's coming back. If it's on the Bucs, we're getting closer to this game being over. And it is offsides on the defense. Offsides on the defense. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Tyler Shuck with 2 big-time throws, both of them going to Vele. Both of them going to Vele in the crucial spots. What more could you want? What more could you want as a Saints fan? Oh my goodness, man. I'm borderline shaking just from being happy in terms of just enjoying the moment and what this rookie quarterback has done for this team so far today. 1st and 10. This game is still not over, though. Need another first down. They're going to go with a toss play to Devin Neal. Devin Neal's going to get blown up. Got to imagine Bucs go timeout here. So this is what the situation's going to be. It's probably going to be a 3rd down after the 2-minute warning, and the Saints are going to need another first down to ice it. I've been on Vele's ass for a while, but he shut me up these past few games. Still not worth the high 4th rounder. No, but you know what? If this is what we're going to get, though, where your rookie quarterback is building trust with him in these spots, you're going to take it for sure. You're going to take it. These are the kind of wins you want. Gutsy win by your rookie quarterback playing your spoiler against your division opponent. Culture building win. If they hold on, absolutely. Got to hold on here, though. And of course, it's only fitting that the rain is just coming down now at a egregious clip. So 2nd and 10. Saints it's going to the 2-minute warning one way or another. Either you're gaining positive yards here or you're facing 3rd and long when you come back. Saints are going with another run, and it is going to get blown up. So when we get back, it's going to be 3rd and 10. And the Saints are going to have a decision to make. Do you run the football and take 40 seconds off the clock? Or do you let your rookie quarterback try to make one more throw to win the game? But this is what it's going to come down to. One play, one more throw, hopefully. And that could be the difference between icing this game. So we'll see what happens, what decision they make. I think you got to just throw for it. You're 2 and 10. You're 2 and 10. Just throw it. I think you'd be aggressive here. I know probably wisdom might say just run it. Here's my philosophy, guys, on this. I say it's 3rd and 11. Obviously, you got to imagine Todd Bowles is going to blitz because Todd Bowles can't help himself. The man is, by nature, a heavy blitz defensive mind. If I have a chance to end the game, and the Saints have a chance to end the game, a first down here ends this game, you take that chance. Because running it, yes, it will take 40 seconds off the clock. And that is a luxury, and that puts more pressure on the Bucs, no doubt about it. The game isn't over. Your defense needs to make a stop now. The conditions aren't great. What if a cornerback slips in coverage? All of a sudden, the guy's wide open. To me, if I have a chance to step on my opponent's throat, I think you do it. And, being 2 and 10, I think gives you even more incentive to do it. But I think you gotta just put the faith in your rookie quarterback. So if Saints run it, then Bucs will get the ball with about 120 left. Yeah, it'd be under 120 when it's all said and done. But it's if you want to just play the safe number, yeah, about around 120. But if I had to guess, it'll probably be around 115, 112, because you got to count the punt, the hang time, whatever it may be, if there's a return. So I say you throw it. Give yourself an outlet, though, where it's either Shuck has the read or Shuck's going down. Maybe a loss of yards. Maybe no loss of yards. Maybe a gain of 2, but the clock keeps running. If you want to have your best of both worlds, maybe that's the scenario. But at 3rd and 10, my rookie quarterback's made 2 big throws on this drive. I take my chances. I let him try to go one more and see if he could close the door right here. 3rd and 11, and they are going to go with a rollout. Going to dip it to Vele, and it is intercepted. No, it's incomplete. And that, to me, is maybe the worst, not the worst scenario. Worst scenario would be that one getting picked off. But, man, I get the read. Tampa played it brilliant, though. What the Saints called is actually what I wanted. It would have been a quick hitter. You're gaining yards. You might not get the first down. Clock still runs. Tampa played that brilliantly, though. Played it brilliantly, and now they're going to have a chance to go down the field and maybe win. We'll see what happens. That's why he doesn't throw, I guess, Robert says. Like I said a million times today, hindsight, it is what it is. Definitely leaned on the conservative play call there in terms of, not punt goes right in the fucking end zone. Go figure. By the way, Kai Kroger, not good at all. History hasn't been on the Saints defensive side. No, not at all. But man, they gotta come up big here. If they can. Remember Tom Brady in that comeback? I don't trust Saints defense. The Monday night game? Which one? Because they had that. I remember also when the Saints were they 5-0? What was their record when they played on they played in Gillette Stadium? I think most teams might have been like 5-0, and then they gave up that game-winning touchdown. Rob Ryan looked disgusted. 1st and 10. Baker drops back from his own 20. He's really losing yards there. He's going to be tripped up. They're going to say he got the throw off incomplete. Man, a sack there would have been huge. You take so much time off the clock. Obviously, back him up. Good coverage there by the Saints. Was the knee down? No. Good play by Baker to get that off, though. I got to give him credit where it's due. Down 16. The Monday night one was fucking brutal, man. Cajun curveball with the super chat shaping up to be a typical Saints loss. Yeah, it is. Thank you for the support, by the way, man. Baker drops back again. He's stepping up. He's going to throw deep. It is intercepted by, he dropped it. Oh my God. Oh my God, Jonas Saker, how do you drop that? Oh my God, that's got to get picked. It's right in the hands of Jonas Saker. And I can't help but feel like that's going to be just a bad omen right there. I can't help but feel like that might be it. And I hope I'm wrong, but I can't help but feel like that might be one of those where we look back and go, that cost you. We'll see. All day for Baker to throw. He's going to roll out to the right. Cam Jordan chasing him. He's going to get stopped short about 4 yards, maybe short of the first down marker. 4th down in the game here. Stop wins it for the Saints. Let's see if they can get it. It's going to be from the Tampa Bay 26. I don't know about you guys. I'm fucking nervous watching the end of this game. I can't believe Sanker dropped that. I'm still kind of like baffled. What a win that would have been. And then I get a hype up Sanker, who's my favorite rookie from this class, although it's been fairly quiet of late. 4th and 4 from their own 26. Baker takes a snap, drops back, looks to throw, slings it. That might be incomplete. They're going to mark him short. And if that line stands, the Saints are going to win this game. They're going to probably have to do a virtual measurement here. But right now, that looks short, and that looks like it's going to be a Saints win. Oh, my goodness, man. What a freaking win for the New Orleans Saints. Shitty weather. Haven't played, well, and I don't want to see another angle of that one, but shitty weather. Had some opportunities. Doesn't go your way every time. No, that's short. That is short. That's ball game. The Saints are going to upset the Buccaneers as 8.5 point underdogs, excuse me. Eight and a half point underdogs go into Tampa Bay and beat the Buccaneers with your rookie quarterback making a shit ton of big plays, Devin Neal stepping up, and your defense, which we talked about going into this final drive. There's been a lot of moments where the New Orleans Saints defense has had a chance to slam the door shut, and it hasn't worked out. It hasn't gone their way. Today, that defense makes the winning plays at the end. It's a great win. It is a great win for the New Orleans Saints. Great win. And now this is how you build confidence. This is how you build confidence. I said about it going into this one. You owe us a champagne bottle pop, sir. Dude, honestly, I probably should have a bottle of champagne over here. That'd be nice and bubbly. I said, can you build off that Miami game, the end of the Miami game? Because you did lose the Miami game. But can you build off it? You did a lot of good things in that second half. And yeah, it was an ugly first half of football. The second half, it was rainy as all hell, and the grittier team was going to come out on top. And somehow this Saints team that doesn't have a lot of talent was the grittier team. And their rookie quarterback, in my opinion, made the big plays in this game. How can you not be excited? How can you not be excited about the way the Saints played it? You are right. I probably owe you guys a million champagne bottle pops right now. I mean, that's a great win. That's a great win. Every phase, for the most part, for the New Orleans Saints stepped up today. Every phase. And now, you know, I don't want to get too far ahead and get into the draft order and stuff. You're still going to be picking top 5. You're still going to be picking top 5. You feel like you might have a quarterback. And if you feel like you have a quarterback, there are going to be teams that need a quarterback. You can trade out of that spot. If you don't want to trade out of that spot, you go get yourself Arvell Reese. Go get yourself Caleb Downs. Go get yourself whoever the fuck you want. And also, the Titans are probably going to win today, so the Saints are going to be one pick out of the first pick while feeling like they have their quarterback. And to me, this is the feeling. This is the feeling that you guys should have. And I know it's one game, and it doesn't change how I feel about certain things. I still have a lot of question marks about Kellen Moore. I still have a lot of question marks about the front office. But as of today, as things currently stand, okay, I feel pretty damn good. I feel very good about Tyler Shuck and the way he played and his ability to make plays with his legs, ability to play outside in crappy weather in the pouring rain against a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that needs to stack wins to make sure they win the division. And in the second half on the run, gutsy plays from your rookie quarterback. Gutsy throws down the stretch to Devon Vele. Devin Neal playing really well in the second half and stepping up. Kool-Aid McKinstry making critical plays in the second half and stepping up. Man, we almost had a game-sealing pick from Jonas Anker, your rookie safety, who's made plays. And the Saints, who have nothing to play for other than pride, get this win. That's what matters. We've seen a lot of close losses this year. I'm tired of the close losses. I want to see the Saints go out, win some games, build some momentum, and see if that carries over week to week. And that might do it. That might be the win that maybe carries over for the next week. So we'll see. But this is how you have to climb out of that hole. It doesn't happen with going 0-16 or 0-17, or 2-15 and just hoping you get lucky in one draft. It's not how it works. It's not. You got to build a culture, and one way to build a culture is by winning. So I love this performance today. It's very easy. And I'll give Kellen Moore one thing. I'll give him credit for one thing. I'm still questioning his decisions. I don't like pitch plays on 4th and 1. I don't like not knowing if we're going to be aggressive on 3rd down because you don't know what you want to call in that moment. I want conviction from my head coach. But I'll give him this. This team was 2-10 coming into today. It is raining buckets on them. you have every reason in the world if you want to start making business decisions and kind of quit. And that wasn't the case. The Saints came to play. The Saints were the more physical team. And I'm just so happy for the players. They absolutely deserve it. This is an awesome win. This is an awesome win. This is the biggest win they've had this season. To me, it feels even bigger than the Carolina one because it's the circumstances. I thought Carolina played terrible against the Saints. I don't think the Bucs played terrible today. I think the Saints, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I think the Saints were better in situational spots. Whether it was a player making a play off script or just coaching-wise. Because you know what? Brandon Staley, he's been good. Brandon Staley's been good. And if you take away that first drive, the opening drive touchdown that the Saints gave up to the Bucs, 13 points the rest of the game, and 3 of those was off a pick that Chuck, you know what? You'd like to have that throw back because there was miscommunication between him and the wide receiver. So, I don't know. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I really am. I really am. And some things did carry over. I mean, I see Xavier talking about it right now. Vele was quiet all game. And then guess what? He had 2 first down catches on that last drive. And yeah, it didn't win them the game on that drive, right? Like the Saints didn't end it there on that 3rd down. It ended up going incomplete. But you extended the drive by another 2.5 minutes. So I'm thrilled. I see all the praise you guys are putting in for Shuck. I'm going to try to get to all your comments now. He did so much today. I'm really am. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. D23 saying Tyler Shuck, man, he can distribute the ball and he can win with his legs. QB debate is well and truly over. He's a starter at least for next year. I agree. Blair with the super chat says we have hope in 2026. That's all I wanted. More though, man, run the ball on 3rd down. Figure it out. I do agree. I think, that's one thing about Kellen Moore that still concerns me is the run game. I will argue one thing in his defense, and I don't want to defend him for this. He's approaching his run game as if he's got the Eagles team last year where you have a really good offensive line, good interior offensive line, and you got Saquon Barkley, and you can't do that. Like a pitch play to Devin Neal never made any sense to me. He's not a fast back like that where he's going to get to the line to gain before those defenders get there. And even the run game, I think there was times where it feels like he probably has to be told on the sideline, hey, you got to run the damn football. So I just think I really think that's a concern. Don't get me wrong. But, man, I am so pumped for the way this team played today. And I just hope it carries over. People don't realize how rooting to lose every week eventually turns you into the Browns and Jets. Winning a game like this matters to what you're trying to build. It does. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. I mean, I say it all the time. Everyone goes, oh, the winning is contagious. It is. So is losing. I mean, you watch these teams, you think it's good for the psyche of these players to lose like 11 weeks in a row? Hell no. Hell no. And you know what? When you win a game like this, it feels like all that hard work you put through in the week, all that hard work you put in during the 60 minutes of gameplay, it's well-deserved. It gives you a little bit more to keep going. So, man, I will take a win like this every day of the week. And I'm not saying I want the Saints to win out and beat the Panthers next week and beat the Jets the week after and the Titans and the Falcons and all of a sudden the Saints finish the year 7-10. I'm not saying that. I don't want the Saints to finish 2-15 though, and everyone's looking around going, what culture do we have other than losing? Because you know what? When you start losing that many games, you quite frankly are a loser. And I say this as you guys know I'm a New Yorker. I talk about it all the time with the Jets and the Giants. Their fans get so happy about tanking. You've been picking top 5 every year. You're not sick of that? So fuck tanking. I don't believe in it. I believe in winning. I believe in building the culture. And I don't know if Kellen Moore is going to be the dude. But I know what? He's going to have a little bit more cachet in that locker room today after a win like this than he would if they lost yet another close game. Because now he doesn't have to go up to the podium and say, oh, it's unfortunate things didn't go our way. So I for one, I'm always for it. So again, I am pumped. I am pumped. I'm sorry for being a little a little bit of dead air for a sec. I'm trying to kind of sift through all your comments. Let me get through some of them. Titans going to win too. Looks like bad teams beat bad teams. We have our guy. Wizard 101 cover says, yeah, I feel that way. You know what? And maybe it'll blow up in my face and maybe I'll feel differently about it. In this moment, I feel like the Saints have their guy. I genuinely feel like they have their guy. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll accept the L later on. I'm not accepting it right now. I'll tell you that much. So right now, I feel like Shuck can be the guy. I think he right now is proving he is the guy. And I'm so excited for him, man. 2025 Saints football can get you hyped. Only 2025 Saints football can get you hyped and crush your hopes at the same time. Great win. Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. And you know what? I'm going to say something. I don't know how you guys felt about this. On that final two drives, the Saints offensive drive and then the Bucs drive at the end, I was legit a little nervous watching that. So to me, if the Saints are going to make me feel a little nervous during games, I'll take it. A lot of commenters, Chuck is a good rookie quarterback. I mean, you see it. You absolutely see it. Shuck comp is more Daniel Jones than Josh Allen. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into comps. I'll take Josh Allen out of it because Josh Allen is amazing. I'm not comparing him to Josh Allen at all. I do think that Shuck has some good. He's got game to him though, for sure. Not that Daniel Jones doesn't. Also hoping Daniel Jones recovers quickly. Obviously, that's a brutal injury. Any thoughts on Notre Dame declining a bowl game? I think. All right, so I'll say this real quick and then I'll get right back to Saints Blair. I think college football is going to have to make a decision on what they want to do because I think some point teams are not going to want to play bowl games anymore if they miss the college football playoff. And even the teams that weren't going to make the college football playoff but have that bowl game might not want to play it anymore. Whether it's coaching staff changes, whether it's just wanting to focus on the transfer portal. I think college football is going to change. I think we're going to lose a lot of those bowl games. So, we'll see how that changes the landscape of things. But I do think that's going to happen. T5 the Great says, get Shuck some blocking and weapons and we'll be Gucci. I mean, I get it. Hale Mendoza says, I'm way more comfortable with Shuck than I was with Rattler. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll say it a million times. I'd rather my quarterback by nature be aggressive and I got to tell him, hey, let's ease it in a little bit other than trying to say, hey, it's go time. Because if you don't have it, you don't have it. And it's hard to do that. And no knock on Rattler. Rattler to me is a very good game manager. A very good game manager was taking the checkdowns, moving the chains. And it was a struggle. And then when he had his opportunities to win games, and this is why this win was so important, in my opinion, they never came through. And it's not all on Rattler. It's not. Shuck made plays that won the Saints the game today. Those rushing touchdowns win you games like today. Those throws to Vele to extend that last drive win you games like today. And again, it's not all Shuck. The Saints didn't win this game just because of Shuck. The defense really stepped up. Devin Neal really stepped up. Towards the end, I complained about penalties. The Saints really limited the penalties in the fourth quarter, which is great. To magically just be able to turn it off when it matters is fantastic. But yeah, quarterback, feel more comfortable with him for sure. There's questions on Kellen still, but he called a pretty good game today. Not perfect, but maybe his best game since the Bills game. I think that's fair. And it wasn't all perfect, right? He had some moments in this game where you probably want it back. You probably want some calls back if you're him. But I would say Kellen late in the game did what he needed to do. Spit to them, Chris. This shit ain't mad, and we need to build that culture back. Absolutely. And the only way you build a culture is by winning games. It's the only way you build a culture. You don't build a culture by losing by 3 points every week. Because at some point, the players go in the locker room and go, bro, I'm sick of losing. I'm sick of losing. Not today. Let Shuck learn the offense some more, especially during the offseason. Get him some weapons. Think we might have our guy. I can't disagree with that, man. At the very least, he has looked promising enough that I want to just see them continue to let this kid play quarterback. Put it this way with Shuck, right? So his first start was against the Rams, wasn't great, but they barely had the football. Against the Panthers, he was good. He was really good. That was his best start probably still to date. Falcons game, wasn't great. Offense as a whole wasn't great. Dolphins game, really bad first half. His best half of football ever, though, was probably that second half, at least that fourth quarter. And then this game against the Buccaneers, he was sensational in the second half. And you know what? Spare me the yard talk, right? Like 144 yards, really? Baker had 122. And obviously Baker's a better quarterback. He only had 122. No one's throwing for a lot of yards in the pouring rain. But 55 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, I'll take that every day of the week. So I thought Shuck was awesome. I really think he was awesome. And I walk out of this game feeling really good. I walk out of this game feeling really good about this team, at least for now. And it could be a fleeting moment, right? I could feel so different about them in a week. But, man, I feel good. AC Camp saying, I was dead wrong about Shuck. He wins 2 more games. He's my guy. And look at the schedule. 4 games left. Panthers at home, Jets at home, Titans on the road, Falcons on the road. I could see them going 2-2. I could see them going 2-2. And if they go 2-2, by the way, that means that out of the 5 wins this year, 4 of them with your rookie quarterback. And to be quite honest, it almost makes it a little frustrating that the Saints went 8 games to start the season without him not in there. Because, man, they had some games where you felt like, hey, you make a play down the stretch, you win that one. Cardinals felt that way. Niners felt that way. Bills felt that way. Patriots felt that way. Those are 4 games I'm giving you. 4 games where they had their chances to win. They just didn't take it. So it is what it is. I could understand a Rattler trade, to be honest. I mean, depends who offers, right? I think Rattler's got a decent enough ceiling that, like, if a Colts or Vikings, like, hey, we want a better quarterback or add some talent to the quarterback room, and we don't know what we got right now. Yeah, I could see it. The Shuck bandwagon is full, but I will run behind it. Former team Rattler. Hey, look, I would put it this way. I mean, I know you're obviously just having fun with it. You guys could have been on the Shuck side of the fence. You could have been on the anti-Shuck side of the fence. You could have been on the pro-Rattlers fence. It don't matter. What matters if you're a Saints fan, if your quarterback's playing well, you support your quarterback. And that's where I'm at in this. I don't care. I don't care what side of the fence. You're a Saints fan. You're rooting for the quarterback. You don't have to worry about apologizing for any takes you had or didn't have. And that goes for everyone, because I know it's going to become a discussion. But yeah, and no, Michael, I'm not saying those losses are on Rattler at all. You know, obviously, and that's why I ripped Groupie earlier last week when he's talking about playing meaningful football. Buddy, you can't play meaningful football if your kicker can't hit the side of the barn. So it's a problem. And by the way, let me just say, kicking obviously wasn't pretty today either. We did have that miss from Charlie Smith earlier. But man, there were plays today where it's like you see the difference enough to get excited about Shuck, right? Like, and the using his legs as an asset is just, it's big time. It's big time to me. The Saints might get a number 1 receiver in the draft. I mean, they could. They could. And you know what, guys? If that's the route they go and they say, hey, you know what? We really want to have like a Jordan Tyson from Arizona State to build around. And let's say that's a wide receiver. Then you're not paying Chris Olave. That's $25 to $30 million you don't have to spend on a certain player. But again, these are the luxuries that you're going to create by saying, hey, we're committing to Shuck for next season. Do y'all think Mendoza can run Moore's offense better than Shuck? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't say right now. All I could say is that Shuck's sample size has been more good than bad. And in a year where all season, and let's be honest with ourselves, guys, because I'm going to defend Rattler, but at the same time, I'm also going to give Shuck his credit here. We all left every game going, man, like it wasn't Rattler's fault, and we were all right for saying so. The roster isn't good enough. But when you have a quarterback that's also mobile like Shuck is, and they could use their legs, this is what you get, where you still have a roster that honestly is a little bit more talent deprived than it was before because they got rid of Shaheed and Eric McCoy is down. And he does make plays enough to elevate a bad roster. And it's not every week. He's not going to elevate them every week. He's not that guy, at least not yet. But today he was. And I think that's what makes it really exciting. Hey, I was for Shuck before the season, but the bandwagon is never full. I cheered for Carr when we were the best offense in league history. That's the way it should be, man. And I'm the same way. I'm the same way because when Carr was in, I was rooting for Carr. I mean, I didn't want the Saints to be in a spot where, you know, that they were losing games. I wanted Derek Carr to succeed, and I didn't even like Carr. So I agree with you. Let me get through more comments here. You guys have Rattler raises your floor, Shuck raises your ceiling. The ceiling part you mentioned does feel like that. Chuck is 1,000% the QB1 for next season. I think so too. I think a win like today slams the door shut on it. So that's just kind of where that's to me, that's it. And I said this during the game or before the game, whatever it was, when we first started today's live stream. I know we're 3.5 hours in at this point, as the Browns are about to, what the fuck is going on here? I'm sorry, excuse me. I don't know. Downside of a red zone. Before the game even really kicked off, or like the first drive, whatever, I said, if Shuck doesn't want the Saints to take a quarterback one, play them out of that spot. And you know what? You win a game like today, you're not picking one. You're playing your way out of this spot. So, that's just kind of how it is. He determines his fate. He plays well enough. Saints are winning enough games where they're not picking top 3. All the Mendoza talk is done anyway, because you're not going to draft him. So that's just kind of where we're at. I say dedicate every pick to the draft, to the offense. I don't know about every pick, but most of them should. And the reason I say that is, if you're watching the Saints this season, you're not coming out of these games going, man, the defense is holding them back. No, can the defense use more firepower? For sure. And I'm not against the idea of like Saints pick top 4, draft Arvell Reese, and then the rest of the draft go offense. F it. I'd be cool with that. So they're going to need to address the defense a little bit, but I do agree the offense is what needs probably a lot more juice than the defense. Caleb Downs or Arvell Reese? I'm an Arvell Reese guy. I love Caleb Downs, though. I love Caleb Downs. Arvell Reese is the type of player that excites the hell out of me, though. Like, genuinely excites the hell out of me. So that's who I'd be for. That's who I'm rooting for, and I hope that's what ends up being the pick for them. Tired of the naysayers with the we're ruining draft stock mentality. I love this winning mentality. Yeah, I agree with you, man. We could talk about the draft in January and February. Let's enjoy a win. Also, real cool statistic real quick. From the Saints PR, with 2 rushing touchdowns today, Tyler Shuck becomes just the second rookie quarterback in Saints history to have 2 rushing scores since Archie Manning did this in Dallas on October 17th of 1971. Additionally, his 55 rushing yards set a new franchise record by a rookie quarterback. So, historic game for him. Historic game for the rookie. Ohio State style's good too. Ohio State's loaded, man. And you guys know how the Saints usually have success going with Ohio State. I would prefer they continue to go down that route. So that's just kind of where my mentality is. So anyway, guys, we've been doing this for about 3.5 hours. I am so thrilled about the way the Saints played. I think Shuck made some awesome plays down the stretch. I thought the defense obviously slams the door shut. And I would argue the defense slamming the door shut is more impressive than anything, because in that spot, that's where we are all like, here we go again. Saints are going to come up short. Not the case at all. So really happy about that. And overall, we'll get into the draft. We'll talk about prospects, but not yet, because at the end of the day, let's see how this season finishes. Let's see how the rookie quarterback looks. And you know what? Let's see how the other rookies on this team look today. I walked out today going, man, that Devin Neal wasn't always perfect in terms of the runs that were called, but 19 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown, you're good in my book. And also a 14-yard reception. Vele, nothing in the first half for the most part. 2 critical catches in the second half. So, man, the younger players on this team that are the guys that are going to be on next year's team stepped up today. Quincy Riley made a couple plays. Kool-Aid was awesome. Jonas Aker could have slammed the door shut. So, I don't know, man. I walk away from today with a huge smile on my face, and I hope you guys feel the same way. So, thank you all so much for tuning in over the last 3.5 hours. You guys have been awesome. Really loved this win for this team. I think this is the best win of the Kellen Moore era so far, and hopefully I get to say that a couple more times and not just, on a random December in year one. I hope we get to say this next week. I hope we get to say this several more times before the season ends. 4 games left. Saints win, upset the Bucs. Maybe they have their guy, and I'm feeling pretty good going into this Sunday night. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure if you haven't already, subscribe to Buccaneers Media to get more from the Straight Up Saints podcast, the destination for the Who Dat Nation.